Oh, we love a bit of Mickey van der Ven. 3 Premier League goals so far. And what about the goal in the Champions League in midweek against Copenhagen? I think that is the Puskás Award one right there. Sam's looking at me with
67.7 metres, the longest ever carry for a goal in Champions League history. It was very impressive, wasn't it?
Isn't it absolutely impressive? His threat from set pieces, how important has that been for Spurs this season, Sam, Stu?
Well, as this song says, they can't live without him, can they? They just can't.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fantastic. 5 goals from corners already this season. Set pieces have been a major weapon for them, but he's so much more than just that.
His pace has been incredible to bail his team out of trouble every now and then. When you've got that electric pace, it's fantastic. It really is.
It really is, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to this one. Flex, how are your nerves holding out?
They're starting to kick in a little bit because it's just the sight of Tottenham. I just don't understand what it is, but I think today's going to be brilliant. Today's going to be different.
Today is going to be different.
Manager of the month, player of the month is here. Resurgent Man United. We got this.
Amazing. Do you know what? I've just got to give a little shout out to my friend's son. He's 12 years old. His name's Omar. He is a mascot for Spurs in one of the games today. His dad is Dutch, so now they'd put down a couple of the Dutch players, Mickey van der Ven and Xavi Simons. I'm just taking a look at some of the TV pictures to see who he's alongside. Good luck to him. He's very, very excited about that. I'm really excited to see him out there as well. And look, all the fans in this stadium are so excited for this game as well. 171 days, as we say, since these two sides last met. The prize was so huge, the European trophy and at Champions League football. It was Spurs that prevailed then, but so much has changed within these two sides. But some of the old problems remain for Tottenham. A bit of inconsistency. They only won 1 home game so far in 4 this season. Not a good record. United, though, on the up. They've won or unbeaten in their last 4 as well. Tottenham, could they do 3 in a row against Spurs? They did the league double over them last season. 3 in a row would be the first time in over 65 years against this rejuvenated United side. It will be fascinating to see how this one plays out. Hopefully more fascinating than the game we saw out in Bilbao. I wonder who will win today. They finished 17th and 15th respectively last season. They're aiming for a place in the top 2 this afternoon. Let's find out how it all goes in the company of Nottingham Forest legend and the former England captain and manager Stuart Pearce and Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. Welcome everyone to the sprawling towers of Tottenham Hotspur. Now, you may have been gripped by the finale of a popular reality television series this week, but trust me, there will be just as much intrigue and drama on this weekend of Premier League action. Everyone that takes the pitch would class themselves faithful to the club's cause, but anyone who has watched, followed or supported Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United over the last few seasons knows the unsettling truth. Lurking within both camps are traitors. Moments of fatal defensive fragility, sudden drops in form and lapses in focus that threaten to murder the ambitions of Messrs Frank and Amorim. Tottenham have shown glimpses of promise under Thomas Frank, but home troubles and the quickly airbrushed player snubs of last Saturday have cast deep suspicion. Manchester United arrive in North London after an infuriating mix of good results and self-sabotage. But every tactical switch, every substitution, every piece of brilliance is instantly questioned when Tottenham and Manchester United come together. And come together they do with a couple of changes from their last outings, from the victory over Copenhagen, which eased a few of the views around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium amongst the supporters. Vicario is the goalkeeper. 3 switches to the outfield. Porro is the right back. Romero, the captain, Van der Ven, who scored that terrific goal, and Spence the back 4. It's Polinia and Sarr as the holding midfield players. Johnson, Simons and Richarlison behind Kolo Muani in attack. It may well be that Richarlison takes up that 9 role and Kolo Muani goes out to the wide left. Lomans is the Manchester United goalkeeper. They switch out 3 from a draw at Nottingham Forest last week. De Ligt, Maguire and Shaw the back 3. Lenny Yoro drops to the bench. Mazraoui and Dorgu the 2 wing-backs. Casemiro and Fernandes holding midfield. Ahmed is promoted from right wing-back up to one of the 10s with Mbeumo behind. Cunha in attack as Manchester United look to go 5 unbeaten. Referee today is Sam Barrett. The VAR is John Brooks. And remember, right now, over on Talksport 2, we've got live commentary from the Championship, where currently Millwall take on Preston. We've got updates from Hull City and Portsmouth, and League One and League Two games as well before the 3 p.m. kickoffs, and we get all the action with Adrian Durham. Now, before we start here, with this being the closest home fixture to Remembrance Sunday, Tottenham will pay tribute to all of those who have been hurt, who lost their lives in armed conflict around the world. And the stadium will fall silent on the playing of the last post by an RAF bugler after 3 reeves from 3 branches of the armed services have been laid in the centre circle.
By retired Royal Air Force Corporal Andrew Lofthouse, formerly a trumpeter at the Central Band of the Royal Air Force. This period of silence will start and end on the referee's whistle. Please remain silent until you've heard the referee's second whistle.
Tottenham Hotspur haven't lost any of the last 4 games after a European midweek. Manchester United haven't beaten Tottenham Hotspur since 2022. We are about to find out who has the stone-cold composure to deceive, to weave, to find a weakness, and who has the clarity to survive. The game is afoot, the tension unbearable, the Premier League drama about to begin. It's Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United, and it's live and exclusive to Talksport. Well, Stuart Pearce is definitely one on whom you always know where you stand, but Stuart, the Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United fans are constantly left guessing as to what to expect.
And I think we are as well. I mean, we got the fan base, one of each, in today. They're not sure what to expect from their allotted teams, and we certainly are not either. But I think we'll get goals, as you mentioned earlier.
White shirts, dark blue shorts for Tottenham Hotspur, who immediately come on the attack towards the edge of the area with Xavi Simons, who was so enterprising in the game with Copenhagen. Manchester United, who have turned Tottenham around in the first half to face the wrong way, really. Shooting from right to left, red shirts and red faces for Senna Lomans, because a short free kick on the edge of the area was sent back to the goalkeeper. He completely miscontrolled it, and he wasn't looking at the ball when it came to him. He tried to roll his studs over the top of it, missed it and put it out for a corner.
I'll tell you what, that ball was going so slowly, it was ridiculous. And as you say, you take your eye off it for one moment, and it's given Tottenham the opportunity to put a blow on United's chin here.
Bearing in mind their set-piece prowess, this is a dangerous thing to give away for free. Pedro Porro to take it. Far side, the Tottenham Hotspur left as they look at it. It'll be an in-swinging right footer. They're bunched up at the back post. Lomans is being crowded out by Christian Romero, ever the aggressor. Mickey van der Ven causing problems with Luke Shaw, and the referee Sam Barrett wants to have his say.
I don't know, Sam, why he's pulled these 2 players over. Shaw was holding Van der Ven and stopping him running from beyond the far post. For me, why warn them? Just let the ball come into play, and you either give a free kick or a penalty, whichever way you see it.
2 minutes gone. It's Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Attacking the big raking south stand that goes up into the sky away to our right. The corner to come in from Pedro Porro. It's a deep delivery to the far post. Lomans got a little bit caught underneath it and then lost his footing and went to ground, but it was too deep for Rando Kolo Muani, who was coming in at the far post, and it drifts behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. But you can tell already that set piece is going to be a feature of the game, just by the way that the team's so craftily set up from that first corner kick.
Yeah, certainly focus is on that right through the Premier League at this moment in time. And just to touch on what you said earlier, it looks like Muani is playing as centre forward with Richarlison just playing off that left-hand side at present.
He's taken the ball down well on his chest and then played it out towards Johnson. It was a bit behind Johnson. That allowed Manchester United to smother him and win the ball back. Kolo Muani has just won it back from Casemiro, who's dawdling in midfield. And then good pressure from Simons has just upended Fernandes. The ball's spilt back towards Lomans, and he's had to come outside of his 6-yard box to collect it. It's the first meeting since Spurs' 1-0 Europa League final triumph in Bilbao 171 days ago. A wound that is still raw, I think, for Manchester United and their supporters. Tottenham won all 4 encounters last season. Haven't won 5th consecutive victory over United since the early 60s. Ball out of play on this near touchline. It's away for a United throw. Dorgu flows it in towards Luke Shaw. Then it's collected by Fernandes. Back to Dorgu again. And then he's upended by Palhinha. And the free kick is given just short of the halfway line, wide on the Manchester United left.
Yeah, most of the game at this moment in time playing in United's half. But United have got the opportunity to get forward and get in behind Spurs at the moment.
Cunha drops deep, plays it left towards Mbeumo, and interestingly, it is on the left side of that attack that Mbeumo is going to operate today, with Amad Diallo over on the right in the other 10 position, and Cunha playing in between them. Dorgu throws the ball in from the near touchline, back to halfway. Shaw squares it to Maguire, who's back in the team at the expense of Lenny Yoro today. Good ball forward into Amad, then out towards the right side. Mazraoui takes it on, gets up towards the right edge of the penalty area. He's about 10 yards outside it when he flicks it infield to Amad Diallo. It's forward by Casemiro. He tries to switch the play to Dorgu, keeps hold of the ball well initially and then has it taken off his toes by Johnson, and a counter-attack is on for Tottenham if they get this right. Casemiro closed that down initially, and the first time ball played forward from deep by Palhinha, tries to release Richarlison, but he couldn't get up to the edge of the area. Lomans read it, and Manchester United tied it up. 4.5 minutes gone. Talksport, and it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 0. 0-0 in all the Championship games. Blackburn against Derby, Portsmouth, Hull, Millwall against Preston. But Colchester 0, Bromley 0, Crewe 0, Shrewsbury 0 in League 2, but in League 1 Wickham have gone in front against Leyton Orient. They lead by a goal to 0 in the first few moments of that match. Here is Palhinha to take a free kick deep inside his own territory. In fact, he sends it all the way back to Mickey van der Ven, who scored that spectacular goal at this stadium in midweek. And the demolition of Copenhagen actually stretched Tottenham Hotspur's unbeaten home run in Europe to 22 matches. That's in stark contrast, Stuart, to their home form in the Premier League. They haven't won since the opening day against Burnley in the Premier League, and ironing out that inconsistency is something that Spurs have been craving for years.
Yeah, that will be the key to their Premier League campaign this year, without a doubt. They're going to have to get the ascendancy on home advantage to be anywhere near the top 6, I would suggest.
Here is Richarlison giving the ball back to Spence. A little bit loose in possession a couple of times, both teams already in the early part of this game. Here's De Ligt forward to Cunha. Bit of a heavy touch. Palhinha couldn't get there, but he poked it through to Casemiro. That's a little bit better as Cunha tries to turn it away from Richarlison. It's very tight over on the far side. Mazraoui finds Cunha again. He tries to trick his way past Richarlison, and Simons then picks it up and drifts past Casemiro. Goes in towards the edge of the area. Goes down, he slipped. It bounces back to Pap Sarr, who's putting pressure on. De Ligt then turns it over, picked up by Casemiro. De Ligt goes in again, and now a bit of space for Bruno Fernandes to operate in as he gets up towards the centre circle. He goes through it and out the other side. He's got Amad towards his right. In the central position is Cunha. He manages to force it through somehow towards Fernandes. Edge of the box, playing it into Mbeumo. Inside the area, squares it in towards an empty 6-yard box. There's no one following up, and the offside flag was up anyway.
Top quality play there by Fernandes. Really clever feet, and his ball just inside the back line. Just inside Porro, I think it was absolutely exquisite. But Mbeumo had just ventured offside slightly, just couldn't hold his run, and there was very little in it. there wasn't anything in it, to be honest with you. That's how little there was in it, nothing.
Yeah, I think that would have counted. If that had gone in, I think they would have overturned the initial decision. He was not in an offside position, and Ruben Amorim is actually pointing that out to Rob Jones. But actually, I think the frustration will come more so, Stuart, from the fact that actually when he put that ball into an empty 6-yard box, Amad Diallo had not followed in on the other side.
Yeah, there was a tap-in to be had there. I was quite surprised that he pulled it across the face of goal rather than shot himself.
Here is Kolo Muani taking the ball down from Johnson, who burst into the box. He goes past Maguire, but it was a little bit heavy with his touch, and he run the ball out of play rather than getting beyond Harry Maguire. But that was just a little window into an opportunity that they might well have to exploit a little bit of pace that Manchester United lack in the centre of their defence. Both De Ligt and Maguire coming across, and Johnson certainly does have them beaten for pace, both of them.
I think he was hoping for a touch there. You know, he's played it slightly too hard for himself, done everything right, direction of run, but I think when he knew he'd overplayed it, he was hoping for a touch from one of the two central defenders.
Yeah, I was listening to Thomas Frank talk about Brennan Johnson, and he sort of gave him a little bit of praise for his pace and what he did last season when he was the top scorer. 27 goals in 101 appearances for Spurs, but most of those, the bulk of those last campaign when he really was the go-to man for them, scored the winner almost inadvertently in the final between these two in Bilbao. But he hasn't been fulsome in his praise of him over the course of the season, Thomas Frank, and I think he still believes there's a bit more to come from Brennan Johnson, who hasn't always been a starter for him.
I don't want to be too critical, but from the outside I look at him as a little bit too nice, if you know what I mean, Sam. You know, a bit like how I view you. You're a little bit too nice, and you need that just air of nastiness sometimes in this profession.
Here is Amad.
Not that I had it. People said that about me. I was far too nice.
I know, you were so cuddly and friendly. Free kick over on the far side, and Pape Sarr has committed the foul, which has generated the free kick for Manchester United. Spurs form at home, the worst in the Premier League in 2025. They've lost 9 games here during the course of this calendar year, which is not great. I think that's one of the, if you talk about why the fans are not responding as well to this team as maybe they might, bearing in mind that they can go second in the table today, I think the answer is that when they see them, they don't see the best of them. Most of their best performances have come away from home. And Thomas Frank talked about this yesterday in his press conference. He said sometimes it is a heavy shirt to wear. He wants to remove that heaviness. He said he was looking at this game as a new opportunity to put that right. He wants it to be a collaborative effort between the supporters and the players. They have to get them off their feet, but they do need good positive energy coming from the stadium as well. Here is Simons, who has started a little bit brighter than he has done in other Premier League games. I think the feeling is he's a little bit too lightweight at the moment, needs to bulk up a little bit physically to deal with the rigours of the Premier League, but he's had a lot of touches in the early exchanges here. 11 minutes gone, it's 0-0 between Tottenham and Manchester United under grey clouds at this fabulous Tottenham Hotspur stadium in North London. Here is Pape Sarr, long, lean, rangy, pokes the ball out to Pedro Porro. He touches the ball and turns it through his own legs into Palhinha. A little bounce off of Fernandes, comes back to Simons, and then he nudges it into Pedro Porro again. There's not too much of an outlet forward for him, and the ball goes back to Vicario away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, the Spurs and Man United to a certain extent are just trying to draw the opposition onto them, because a couple of attacks that we've seen, one with Brennan Johnson and the one prior to that with Fernandes, they just ended up having a 3-on-3 scenario at both ends of the pitch, and that's what they're looking for.
And Mazraoui poked the ball out of play. It's given back to Spurs, and they have it just short of the halfway line. It's a bit pedestrian now after quite a fast start to the match. Romero almost standing on the ball in the centre circle. Up to Kolo Muani. Back into Palhinha. A bit of collision off the ball. In fact, so much so that Maguire, I think, inadvertently connected with his head there and immediately called play to stop himself because he felt that Kolo Muani had, I think, whacked into his shoulder, possibly. Was that?
Yeah, I think he's probably just gone. He's laid it off and gone to spin as you do, and it's a clash of faces almost.
It's just gone down on his haunches, and the referee has called a stop as a result of that. No other goals elsewhere apart from that Wickham goal. Away to our left-hand side.
And Maguire's just whispered to Mawani there, and I'm not sure what he's actually said. He's either apologised or said, there's another one coming very shortly, my friend, as we used to in the old days, you know.
1-1 now between Leyton Orient and Wickham Wanderers. After Fred Onyedinma had put Wickham in front, Leyton Orient have an equaliser, and that's in League One. Elsewhere, it is still 0-0 in both games in League Two. The other game in League One between Northampton and Mansfield, and all three games in the Championship, of which the game between Millwall and Preston is live on Talksport 2 right now. And Talksport 2, very good game this afternoon, actually, between Stoke and Coventry, which Adam Bridge and Chris Iwelumo will bring you at 3 o'clock. And Adrian's going to be based there for Game Day Live. He's got Mickey Gray, Scott Minto with him today. Everton, Fulham and West Ham, Burnley in the Premier League, but he's going to be at that top Championship clash a little bit later today. Here is Brian Mbeumo. Into Dorgu, comes into midfield, plays it square, just 10 yards over the halfway line. Just right of centre is Ahmad. He cuts it back to the very tall and powerful figure of Matthias de Ligt, who always looks to me as if he's just come off the beach after a bit of a surf. Gives the ball across to Maguire and takes the ball up towards the halfway line, and then tucks it back to Matthias de Ligt. 14 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0.
I've not been too impressed with either side playing through the opposition at this moment in time, whether that's a good defensive shape by both teams or just alternatively the lack of cutting edge maybe to find a pass or get turned.
Well, there was a prime example there as Manchester United had possession inside their own half. They fed the ball up to Casemiro, who's on the halfway line really, as a foul is given against Bruno Fernandes. He looks up, he sees the movement of Cunha, but instead of releasing it immediately, quick, sharp, instinctively, he takes 3 more touches of the ball before doing so, then miscues his pass. It goes straight to Romero, and the opportunity to play Cunha in has gone. 0-0. Here's Romero, up to halfway for Tottenham, into the body of Richarlison. De Ligt had followed him out, tried to commit a tackle. He held on to it, the Brazilian, then dropped in, played it towards Sarr. Out wide on the left is Jed Spence, and then Sarr travels laterally and gives the ball to Palhinha. Palhinha in a long sleeve white Tottenham Hotspur jersey feeds it out to Porro's. Crosses are always dangerous, and Lomans didn't know where that was going, and nor did Mazraoui, and it went right past him and out the other side, and is collected by Randall Kolo Muani. Back on the left edge of the area, Tottenham with Sarr now, 20-30 yards from goal. Here's Palhinha to the right, Pedro Porro, who has got such a great right foot when it comes to swirling crosses into the box. He's so dangerous from that sort of range. Gives it into Palhinha again. It's sent wide towards Johnson, and then as they clip it over the top for the channel run for him, it's cleared away by Luke Shaw and up to the halfway line. Portsmouth lead by a goal to 0. Michael Smith has scored for Preston. They lead 2 away from home this afternoon. So 2 goals in quick succession in the Championship. It's Hull 0, Portsmouth 1. Terry Devlin with the goal. And Preston 1 up in their game against Millwall live on Talksport 2.
Just going back to that cross by Porro, absolutely superb from the Vieira fullback. Just whipped it in. If you can't see one of your players, put it between goalkeeper and defender and let them deal with it if they can.
Johnson with the cross, lovely in towards Richarlison, and he heads the ball wide of goal. Well, Johnson on the right-hand side just picked the ball up, little nudge to his left, got it onto his left foot and immediately curled the ball in behind the Manchester United defence. Stationed between the 2 centre-halves was Richarlison. It was almost a pinpoint delivery, Stuart. How has he not got more contact on that ball?
Well, I think we've seen 2 things just there. Firstly, why Van der Ven is the top goal scorer at this football club at this moment in time, and secondly, Tottenham need somebody to get them 15 plus goals a season, and missing chances like that indicates the likes of Richarlison probably isn't the man to do that job. It was a gilt-edged chance.
That was a golden chance for Tottenham Hotspur after 17 minutes, and he completely fudged the header there, Richarlison, and as a result of that, Johnson wins it back again down the right-hand side, looking for another cross into the box. Richarlison can't get across. De Ligt this time. It comes to Sarr, who volleys it from 25 yards, but he shins the ball over the top of the crossbar and it goes out over on the far side. Wycombe take a 2-1 lead against Leyton Orient. You're listening to Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0, Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream the Sky Sports big weekend, including Sunderland versus Arsenal, live today, available with no contract on now. Search Now Sports. And Stuart, it is 0-0, but it probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, it certainly shouldn't with that chance. They don't get much better than that. It fell straight on his head. He just got the timing horribly wrong, basically, and he probably just skimmed it, if anything. Failed to get it on target by a country mile. But this game, after 15 minutes, we weren't sure who would win this game, and I'm still, after 15 minutes of football, not sure either way.
Simons, lovely turn, and then just sort of helped it into an area down this right-hand side, but Johnson, despite his rapid pace, couldn't scurry to keep it in, just runs off the turf and goes down the camber of the pitch and into the advertising hoardings and out for a throw into Manchester United in their left full-back position. It's 0-0, and this playing surface isn't up to its usual level. I mentioned that at the top of the 12 o'clock hour. You know, there has been put away into storage really for a couple of weeks because of the NFL happening here. They play that on artificial turf. The pitch sort of slides into pieces and out of the stadium, and it's stored underneath the big huge main stand, south stand away to our right. They drop another 9 metres into the artificial surface and play the NFL on that. It does just mean that if it's not treated 100% right, then sometimes it can come out a little bit bare, and there's certainly bare patches in the goal mouths at both ends and at certain points in the middle of the playing surface. It does look a little bit, I mean, look, it's not 1970s FA Cup final ropey, but it's not up there as you would expect, as Morris scores for Derby away from home at Blackburn. In great form at the moment, Derby County in the Championship. They lead Blackburn by a goal to 0. Northampton are 1-0 down against Mansfield after 20 minutes.
Yeah, and as you mentioned to me before the game, Sam, you know, this pitch very similar to my hairpiece, you know. It comes out in pieces and I put it away for winter, you know.
Yes. And often when you bring it back, it does look very different, doesn't it? You know, the colour's changed, the style's different.
Yeah, it's had a good fertilisation through the winter and sun lamps, as you well know.
Here is Dorgu, infield towards Casemiro. I'm not entirely sure he was trying to find a Manchester United jersey there, but he seemed to play the ball into a dangerous area. There was no one really in that zone for United, and it's cleared away by Tottenham Hotspur. Mickey van der Ven picks the ball up on the edge of his own penalty area, starts to gallop into a run, and the stadium just bursts into life at anticipation that he might be about to go on another 67.7 metre dart towards the edge of the penalty area and unleash a goal like he did in the Champions League. Lommans kicks it clear from deep, and that's something that he does a lot better, I think, with his decision making. He decides to kick it long when necessary and just takes the pressure off the United defence. Here is Randall Kolo-Muani trying to run past Luke Shaw. Doesn't quite happen for him, and it's cleared away. Crew take the lead against Shrewsbury, 1-0 to them in League 2, and Simons is chasing for Tottenham into the corner over on the far side, but he's going to run out of room. Lots of action in the WSL this weekend. Aston Villa lead Manchester United by a goal to 0 at half-time, and it's half-time for Angelina Kelly at Arsenal.
Yes, half-time, Arsenal 0, Chelsea won. A very lively first half of football with chances for both sides. Chelsea's record signing Alyssa Thompson scored in the 9th minute with a beautiful chip from into the top far corner. Since then, Arsenal have had their chances with Caitlin Ford doing some really good work on the left-hand side, but overall, Arsenal have just been nowhere near clinical enough in front of goal. Half-time, Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1.
Thanks, Angelina. 21 minutes gone here. And after what was quite an entertaining first 5 minutes of the game, it's gone a little bit tepid inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And speaking to a couple of Tottenham fans before the game, that's been the way of things. But here's Cunha getting past Romero into the penalty area, trying a shot, takes a deflection off the retreating Pat Sarr, who got back and just about diverted it behind. It started to burst into life once Cunha picked the ball up. 20 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He flicked it against Romero, who used his hand actually and was lucky not to be penalised. The referee played the advantage, allowed Cunha to continue. I just wonder whether or not they're going to have a word with Romero here, because that might have been the denial of a goal scoring opportunity, mightn't it?
I was just going to say exactly the same. He's put the ball sort of up waist high, and Romero, he's certainly got his hand to it. It's not hit his hand, he's moved his hand to the ball, and I'm absolutely astounded that no more action's taken place.
Well, that was a brief VAR check, if there was one. Here's the corner in towards the near post, and this time Richarlison, it hits his body. The Man United fans behind the goal away to our left are suggesting that was handball. It's eventually cleared to the halfway line.
I think that could be one that they turn around and say, well, it's hit his own foot and then onto his hand, but he was the one responsible for that.
Now, you're talking about the Romero one, which led to
this one with Richarlison.
Okay, we'll have a look at it in just a second. Maguire had actually space to turn centrally, but went wide to Dorgu, who's low-balled in towards the near post, is fended behind by Romero, and it goes out for a throw-in down by the corner flag. Fernandes is complaining already, suggesting that it might have been a corner. This is a potential handball. Yes, he sort of hit it with his left foot onto his right hand, and in the Premier League, the guidance is that if it deflects off another part of your body onto your arm, they will not be giving handball for that.
Yeah, but you were the one that was in full control and guided it onto his own hand.
Yes.
We found another grey area in the laws of the game.
Yeah, unlike your hairpiece, there's a lot of grey areas in the handball law.
Touche, my friend.
No, toupee.
Toupee. Nice work.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Here is Fernandes in towards Cunha. Tries to flick it round the corner down the inside left channel, and Fernandes can't get on the end of it, and it's into the arms of Vicario. Well, Amorim insists that actually his team have evolved since the game between these two in Bilbao, if you can call it that. He says they're more confident, believe they can win any match, believe they're a better team now, play better, understand better. Certainly they've just started to find their way in this game by pressing a little bit higher up the pitch and denying Tottenham the chance to get out. Here's Maguire onto Mbeumo, trying to keep it in down the left. And he, who has a great habit of scoring against Tottenham Hotspur, just couldn't quite keep it in the perimeter of the playing surface. It goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left. And Harry Maguire coming back in the team today. His last goal was that fantastic intervention at the end of the game at Anfield, where he won the game for Manchester United. It seems like they're leaning on him a little bit more, and they're certainly leaning on Casemiro a little bit more as well, Stuart. 33-year-old has been in good form. United concede a goal every 110.6 minutes with him on the pitch versus every 31 minutes when he's not on the pitch, more than 3 times better defensively. He has looked a little bit more athletic and mobile and more robust this season.
Yeah, there was a period of time you looked at him and thought he was an absolute spent force, and he was at the heart of all the ills that were going on at United, especially in that midfield. But he's got 3 defenders, central defenders behind him in this formation, with Fernandes alongside him, and it narrows any gaps either side of him down.
Yeah, game lacking an incident at the moment. 25 gone. Here is Casemiro. The best moment that Tottenham have had was a Richarlison header, which he didn't quite connect with. They've kept the ball in, Manchester United, with a stretch from Mazraoui over on the far side. Ahmad with a neat turn back to Mazraoui. Gets down the right wing position, a low cross into the box, which is steered away by Romero. Adjusting his body position was Mickey van der Ven. He does well, Richarlison does better, and Tottenham get out to the halfway line. Bit of body swerve from Simons to get away from Shaw. He comes infield, keeps hold of it well. Richarlison trying to get there. Tottenham doing well to keep hold of the ball just about. Porro has it inside the centre circle. On to Sarr. Back to Simons, who looks full of confidence today whenever he gets on the ball. Now he's looking up, needs a bit of movement, and no one's giving him an option. He holds on to it, rolls it back to Sarr.
Yeah, I mean, he basically got the ball just inside United's half, and he's still got 5 of his teammates behind him. So the options in front were very, very limited.
Spence goes down the outside, looks to get the beating of Mazraoui. Low cross into the near post on the edge of the 6-yard box is De Ligt, who manages to turn it round and out for a corner over on the far side. That's a bit better.
It certainly is. As I say, the game swung from end to end. Both teams not really testing the goalkeeper, but making good entries into each other's box.
Well, this is a sight of unprecedented misery for Manchester United. They lost all 4 meetings with Spurs last season, plus the Europa League final, which denied them Champions League football and left them without any European competition, which might be a blessing in disguise for Ruben Amorim. He would have hoped to have coordinated the defence towards these set pieces on the training pitch. It's towards the far post from the corner. Richarlison tries to get the header in. It's picked up by Mbeumo, and he sends it long for Ahmad, who's trying to outpace Jed Spence, who didn't do very well with his clearance. And Ahmad has caused him a real problem and won the loose ball. Got in towards the edge of the penalty area, and Brennan Johnson has to come across on the cover and slide the ball out of play and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Hull have equalised. Enis Destan has scored the second of the goals in the game at Hull. Hull 1, Portsmouth 1 in the Championship. Still Preston in front of Millwall and Derby in front at Blackburn. That Millwall-Preston game is live on Talksport 2. Mansfield 1 up against Northampton in League 1. Wickham 2-1 up in League 1 over Leyton Orient. And Crewe leads Shrewsbury by a goal to nil, and is still 0-0 Colchester Bromley. Corner away to our left for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is going to take it now. That Brennan Johnson challenge is a really good one, and he's now entangled with Matthijs de Ligt over on the far side. And before the corner is taken, as is inevitably trendy now, we have to have another reset, another talking to, and a yellow card for Brennan Johnson. He's had a few cards this week, and it's not even his birthday.
Yeah, certainly has. As I say, done extremely well tracking back a few moments earlier, and then decided to try and buy a foul from de Ligt.
Fernandes to take the corner then. Sam Barrett, after warning everybody inside the area, I think they've had 45 seconds waiting for this corner to take place. Here is Fernandes, ready to take it again. De Ligt being wrestled with once more. It goes into the near post. Poor delivery, really. And Mbeumo will shuffle back and win it for Manchester United. Come forward, get it to Fernandes, tight to the touchline, midway inside Tottenham's half, and then diminutive Ahmad just short inside the United half of the field, gets it to Lomans, who kicks it long and deep into Tottenham territory, but too long and too deep, and Mbeumo runs out of room. Currently Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 0. The latest odds are available at Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage right now. You can get Spurs to win at 15-8. The draw is 2-1, and the Manchester United victory is 6-4. Those odds all thanks to Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, United have just failed, I think, to get Ahmad into the game as much as they would like. You know, he's had this run down here on the left-hand side that Brennan Johnson tracked really well back. But aside from that, I can't remember too much that he's contributed this first half.
Whatever happens today, by the way, in this game and any of the others, you'll be able to get a full-service review tomorrow morning on Weekend Sports Breakfast, when Shaban Ahern is joined by Tony Cascarino. And I think Tony sees everything, doesn't he? I mean, from what we saw earlier, he's got one of those special pairs of glasses, hasn't he, that he sees absolutely everything on.
Well, when I was a young child growing up, there was a cartoon character called Joe 90 that had who had a pair of glasses, and you could morph yourself into anybody by wearing these glasses.
Right.
You've got his brain patterns in your head, you know. But they were quite ludicrous, weren't they?
Yes, and so were Tony's. We saw him downstairs. He's here today, actually, isn't he? Keeping an eye on proceedings. And the first thing you noticed, in fact, you almost got out of your seat to try and hunt him down to have a closer look at them, but you couldn't keep up with him.
I was so astounded, I was rooted to my seat. I'm disappointed. I didn't have a close contact at the bins that he was wearing.
Here is Ahmad in the centre circle. Not much has happened at either end for many minutes now. Both goalkeepers have been underemployed criminally in the opening half an hour. Richarlison had the best chance for Tottenham Hotspur. There was a shout for a possible denial of a goal-scoring opportunity against Romero at the other end. Manchester United have yet to really test Vicario. They might do that now. A straight ball forward by Shaw has worked its way to Fernandes. Down the left it goes to Cunha. Cunha now just inside the penalty area, produced across into the box, chested down by Sarr. It was inaccurate, the delivery, but it luckily comes back to Cunha, who's back heel, releases Dorgu, who's crossed into the box, found Mbeumo. It's into the air for Ahmad to chase. He doesn't get there because Spence manages to nudge it clear first. Back on the edge of the box, right side is Cunha. Then into Diallo again. Ahmad Diallo's crossed towards Mbeumo, and he heads it in, and he scores against Spurs again. Thomas Frank knows all about him, and he's just been reminded of Brian Mbeumo's quality. Manchester United sustained pressure, a delivery to the far post, and waiting there to head it home in front of a stranded Vicario was Brian Mbeumo, and Spurs suffer more home discomfort. It's Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1.
Well, I'm interested to see the replay of this. Romero, for the earlier one, the handball, he's handballed it. The play's gone beyond him into the box, and he's just stood still for the attack leading into this. He's run at the attacker who's coming with the ball. You can't do that. You've got to back off. He's give his wicket away too readily. And when the ball's come back in the box, it's gone out wide. There's been no marking at all. Really, really slack marking. I think it was Brennan Johnson who ended up dropping back into a defensive mode, but not tight enough to Mbeumo to have any impact on him.
Well, I mean, he didn't even jump, Mbeumo. It was under no pressure from Porro and Johnson. And the ball is headed into the corner, and he lifts his palms to the sky as if to say, what do you expect? It's the 5th goal in 9 games against Tottenham Hotspur for October's Player of the Month, and Tottenham Hotspur are behind at home again.
Yeah, the game's been, you would say, even Steven, maybe Spurs slightly on top of it, I'm not sure, but they had enough players in and around the box, Spurs, to get a little bit tighter, certainly on Mbeumo, who's mainly the main threat of United.
1-0 to Manchester United, and the Manchester United fans in the curve of the stand over in the far corner away to our left. In the bottom tier, there's quite a good proportion of them, 4,500 today, finding their voice and making sure that everybody knows that they are here. It's been 50-50 in terms of possession, but that was the first shot on target in the game, and Mbeumo scores it. And Jed Spence has just...
He's done it.
It wasn't Jed Spence, it was Romero, went flying through Patrick Dorgu for absolutely no reason, got a yellow card.
Well, he's just emphasised my point earlier there. You know, when the play goes beyond you, you've got to track back quicker. When the attackers are coming towards you, you can't. He's made his mind up way before he should have done for a defender, and just charged at the attacker. And there was only one outcome there: you either get dipped past or you've got to bring them down. And he's in big trouble now if he keeps defending like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the game for him to get a yellow card because he's not the most cool-headed customer, is Christian Romero. Here's the free kick for Manchester United, on top by a 1-0. Goal from Brian Mbeumo, who has scored again this season, as he keeps doing. It's his 6th goal of the campaign. It's a deep ball towards the far post, headed on by Maguire, away by Palhinha, back down by Cunha to Dorgo, who sends it over the top of the Tottenham defence, and then backpedaling Porro volleys it over his head towards halfway, and then Simons puts Fernandes under pressure but runs the ball out of touch on this near side, and it goes away for a throw into Manchester United. A words or two is exchanged between Thomas Frank and Bruno Fernandes, and Manchester United have the ball deep inside their own half. Their 3-game winning streak was snapped by a 2-2 draw at Nottingham Forest last weekend, but they're still unbeaten in 4, their best run since January and February 2024. So they come into it in good form, and Van der Ven has just had to get away from Cunha. He's run into Casemiro, who snapped it back on the edge of the area though, tried to give it back to Cunha, and that pass wasn't good enough, and it's cleared away by Tottenham Hotspur just about. But when Mickey Van der Ven is giving the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area, you know that Tottenham are a little bit rattled.
Well, he set sail, made his mind up, set sail across the 18-yard box, and credit to Casemiro, used all his experience to cut him off and take the ball off him, and they were fortunate to get bodies around and stifle the attack.
Millwall 1, Preston 1. This is Talksport. Ivanovic with the equalising goal on Talksport 2, where that commentary continues. Millwall and Preston in the Championship on a big day of EFL action with Stoke City and Coventry. The top 2 in that division to come a little bit later on. We brought you Watford and Bristol City last night. We'll bring you more action over the weekend. And of course we've got a bonus Premier League game tonight, Chelsea against Wolves at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, big game that. Certainly for Wolverhampton in the plight they're in at the moment.
They might have a new manager soon. I mean, not that these two things are connected, but Rob Edwards has been stood down from his duties at Middlesbrough today.
Well, it's a long day. There's every chance he might be in the dugout tonight.
Here's Pedro Porro down the right side, trying to get the cross in from the corner flag area. It came off Dorgu, blocked it, then off Porro again. The assistant was right on the spot and decided to give the throw in Manchester United's way. Pedro Porro vocalised that he wasn't too happy about that.
I think it'll be a bit harsh on Maresco if Rob Edwards is in the dugout tonight, you know.
Why?
I thought you meant he might become Chelsea manager, sorry. You never know in football, you never know.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Anything. That managerial merry-go-round is spinning at a faster rate than it ever has. Here is Spence heading the ball forward for Tottenham Hotspur, who could do with a little bit of extra tempo in their play going forward. Simons down the right-hand side, looking for Brennan Johnson. His cross comes off the back of Dorgu and then back off the Welshman and goes behind and away for a goal kick. And there's a little bit of frustration there just creeping in to the Tottenham Hotspur support behind the goal away to our right. One big chance in the first half, no shots on target, and that just plays into the narrative that they're not really creating enough. I mean, there is a bit of a statistical paradox with Tottenham. They have had just 97 attempts on goal this season. Only Burnley have had fewer, yet they've scored 17 goals from an XG of 10.16, which is outperforming their expected goals more than any other side. They're finishing the odd chance that they do get, even the hard ones like champions, but they are creating chances like relegation candidates. That's a balance that surely can't hold.
Well, and the difference between the two sides was Buemo scored his header and Richarlison missed his by a country mile, and they were both very, very similar.
I suppose that just sort of proves that it can't hold, because it hasn't today. 39 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1. This is Talksport. And you were right, by the way. Things do move quickly in football. Middlesbrough have just announced in the last few minutes that, subject to the completion of an agreement with Wolverhampton Wanderers, they have given head coach Rob Edwards permission to speak to Wolves. They initially rejected an approach from Wolves on the basis that Rob had signed a 3-year contract at Middlesbrough less than 6 months ago. But following discussions with Rob, we are disappointed to learn that he wanted to speak to Wolves regarding their head coach vacancy. We have now agreed a term with Wolves, subject to the completion of the relevant paperwork. First team coaches Adi Vivash, Harry Watling and academy coach Craig Liddell will take charge of the team affairs for Saturday's game against Birmingham City at the Riverside Stadium. Breaking news in the last few minutes that Middlesbrough Football Club have confirmed they've given head coach Rob Edwards permission to speak to Wolves. 5 minutes to go before half-time. There'll be a little bit of discussion, I think, with Reshmin and maybe Adrian at half-time in this game. Here is Romero across to Palhinha. Forward down the right channel for Brennan Johnson, being tracked by Luke Shaw, who's played every single Premier League game this season, which is great to see. Richarlison linking the play well, gets it back to Sarr. Good football by Spurs to work it out to Spence far side the left, and then Spence's ball down the inside left channel is a little bit too heavy for Richarlison, and it runs beyond. And there have been a bit of a disconnect between the good play that Spurs have had in the middle third of the pitch and trying to connect that into the final third, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. As I say, it's the final third and around the box that they've been limited on. The best opportunity falling that cross into Richarlison, who missed his header. But aside from that, they've struggled to find a clear-cut pass or the opportunity to open up I wouldn't say a static sort of central defensive band of Manchester United, but they've not pulled them around enough to cause them a problem.
Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Here's Dorgu running into Christian Romero. Romero upends Dorgu again. I think Dorgu's got this idea now that he can draw a foul off Christian Romero. Ball up to what was Richarlison, who leaves it for Simons. It didn't quite come off for the Dutchman. It went past him and away by Maguire. De Ligt around the corner to Casemiro. Can't hold on to it. It's a little bit loose and scrappy in the middle of the park again. Richarlison takes it to the far side. Manipulates the ball away from Fernandes. Plays it down the left for Jed Spence now, who comes on the attack. And again, he then loses out to Fernandes. The ball bounces out of play. It goes away for a throw-in. And then Fernandes did his best to disrupt the taking of the throw-in a rather clever way, actually, so that he didn't yield a booking from Sam Barrett, the referee. 1-0 to United. Here is Porro flinging the ball forward down the right. It's headed away by Dorgu, won by Moani, and then infield it goes from Johnson to Simons, and then back to Johnson, right side of the area. His cross is a poor one. He's got right underneath it, elevated it high into the air, right over the top of Lommans' net, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Here are the latest scores on this Saturday lunchtime, live on Talksport in the Championship. It's Blackburn 0, Derby 1. It's Millwall 1, Preston 1 on Talksport 2. Hull have taken the lead in their game against Portsmouth. They lead by 2 goals to 1. In League 1, it's Northampton 0, Mansfield 1, Wickham 3, Leyton Orient 1. In League 2, Colchester 0, Bromley 0, and 1-1 between Crewe and Shrewsbury. And in the Women's Super League, it's half-time. It's just actually started after half-time in the game at Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1, and Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 1. Now that Hull goal, the latest of which scored by Kyle Joseph, has put them in front after conceding the first goal against John Mousinho's Portsmouth. They are back in front.
I just had a look at the goal from earlier, and Porro and most of the back line from Tottenham as well. They've squeezed out, followed the ball, but unless you're leaving people totally offside, you've got to come out marking players, and that's what they didn't do.
Fernandez, centre field, looking to release Mbeumo, who tries to nudge it on to Ahmad, who went through the centre, was dispossessed by Romero. They turn the ball over, Tottenham, and look to try and build through Simons, who again keeps the ball well, nudges it out towards Papsar, gives it back to Simons, centre field, halfway inside Manchester United territory. They work the ball centrally and then out wide to Randall Kolo Muani, who's peeled out to the right side, takes on Dorgu, goes on the outside of him, looks to get the cross away. It's put behind by Dorgu, and it's out for a corner in the 44th minute of the first half.
Yeah, good play there by Muani. Picked it up on this right-hand side. He was rocking and rolling Dorgu. Managed to put him on the back foot and just drop him down on his backside slightly. But good recovery eventually.
Here's the corner near side to be taken by Pedro Porro. And he's got support in there to Amat. Richarlison, Papsar, Moani at the far post. Mickey van der Ven is in there as well. So is Christian Romero. As Derby go 2-0 up away at Blackburn. Here is Pedro Porro with the corner from the near side, the right. A minute before the conclusion of the first half. Arcing ball out towards a penalty spot. It's looking for Polinia, away by Maguire, who's taking charge. And then back to Porro, who sends another ball into the box. It takes a deflection off the back of Fernandez, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near touchline. And it's a little bit of a shame, actually, today for Tottenham, because one of the things that Thomas Frank has been utilising is a long throw from Kevin Danso, but he's only on the bench, so they don't have that option here.
Yeah, I don't think their set plays have been great from corners either, to be fair. From the left-hand side, they've overhit the in-swinger. From that side, good defending by De Ligt.
Porro gets it back after lending it to Sarr. Don't know what Johnson was doing, but he's allowed it to go through to Spence. He's come back to Papsar. He's got Mbeumo in front of him. Gives it to Pedro Porro. Johnson back to goal, about 6 yards outside the area on the right side of the box as Tottenham look at it. They've been forced all the way back to the halfway line here as 1 minute is added at the end of the first half by the fourth official. Mistake by Romero, and then taken on by the Mazraoui into midfield. He pokes it back towards Ahmad. It breaks down and Richarlison wins it. Romero's high up the field here, looking to stride forward. He slips it through towards Brennan Johnson. It's cut out by Shaw, turned over. There's a bit of a gap to run into for Cunha, but he's got to go up against Mickey van der Ven, and there's only ever going to be one winner of that race, and he turns it back to Vicario, who's deep inside his penalty area.
The difference between these two sides at the moment for me, Sam, is United look a little bit tighter defensively, you know, and Spurs just a little bit loose on occasion.
Spence, crossfield ball is a good one, finds Brennan Johnson down the right. Porro joining the attack, clips the ball in towards the near post, but he didn't get his cross right. The delivery quality was off, and it flies behind and out for a goal kick away to our right. And that's probably going to be the last action of the first half. Manchester United were going through another meltdown just a month or so ago, but it's a different story now. They're a goal up thanks to Brian Mbeumo on the 45-minute mark, and they are just 45 minutes away from going second in the Premier League. There were a few boos at half-time from Tottenham Hotspur fans who have found home comforts certainly not too apparent at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in 2025. at the break. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you very much, Sam. Do you know what? It's one of those games that's not quite as terrible as the Europa League final, but there's really not that much happening here. All it took is one moment, as it did in Bilbao as well, and it's Brian Mbeumo who has put Manchester United ahead. He just loves scoring against Tottenham, doesn't he? We all know what he brings to the Premier League. That is the what you get when you have a ready-made player from the Premier League coming straight into another team and being able to affect the side that he is playing for. I've got Flex alongside me. I've got Stuart Pearce alongside me. Flex, I'm going to go to you first. What have you made of United's performance so far? I mean, is it as drab as I'm depicting it from your point of view?
There hasn't been a lot of quality between the two sides. I think the first 30 minutes before United scored, they were struggling to get going themselves. Not much quality on the ball coming from midfield. Stuart touched on it in comms about the lack of ability to be able to be playing through the lines and play forward passes coming from Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. Man United were quite wasteful with the ball, but looked organised, because in terms of anything coming back the other way from Spurs, you never really felt like they were under any pressure. They still had the half chance where Richarlison probably gets his lines wrong, but other than that, I think Manchester United then grew into a little bit of confidence, and it's about those little bits of moment of quality. We've spoken about Mbeumo and we've spoken about Ahmad before the game, didn't we, and how important those two are, and whether they're linking up with Ahmad from right wing back and Kuna and Mbeumo on the right 10, or whether they're both in the 10 situations like they were today.
Yeah.
They know how to find each other, and that the difference in that half.
They link up brilliantly, don't they?
Exactly. The only difference in that half of football was Manchester United managed to find a little part of quality between two of the players, and that's it. Yeah. That's it. Defensively, they've been fine. A little. They've been strong and coordinated in there. I think it's worked bringing Harry Maguire back into there. De Ligt looks assured. Dorgu's winning his duels down in the corner with Porro. And they've defended corners pretty well as well. So a lot of it, yes, has been Spurs here at this stadium. I was saying to you during comms, it really is this bad when you actually watch it. The lack of attacking options, or the lack of intensity, or the lack of options at the top end of the pitch from Spurs is actually frightening, and I can see why there's been boos ringing out, and I've been confident that Manchester United would find a little bit of quality from the player of the month and Ahmad, who's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and you've done that. And just to touch on that, Stuart Pearce, the lack of quality. Look, we're looking for answers to questions here. Thomas Frank is trying to find solutions for these attacking players. He's gone with the intent. He's put on these forward players on the pitch, but they cannot seem to find each other. They end up, less often than in other games that I've seen, that they go backwards instead of forwards. But when they're going forwards, there's no quality, there's no pattern of play to actually find a way to break through those lines and achieve something.
Yeah, I think when you look at the comparison between both teams, the difference is United have defended fairly sensibly. They've not done anything stupid. They've not given their wicket away. And what do I mean by that? Compare that to Tottenham. Romero's been booked already. No recovery run after he handballed it on the edge of the box, and you thought, you've got to run back as quick as you can. He's run out of slot on 2 occasions now, one where he got booked and the other one where he's got no chance of winning the ball. It's kamikaze. And then at the far post, Porro for the goal. You've got enough defenders back there, but everyone's marking a slot but not marking a player.
Yeah.
So it's been costly themselves rather than what United have done to really hurt them.
Yeah, exactly. Self-sabotage, I think that is the word we're looking for. Okay, you've been hearing Stuart Pearce and Flex here, and elsewhere in the WSL, you'll know that they're into the second half at the Emirates. It was a midday kickoff over there. Watching for Talksport is Angelina Kelly.
It's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1, but for a minute or two it was 1-1 as Arsenal thought they had equalised after Stina Blackstenius fired the ball into the roof of the net thanks to a corner from Beth Mead. However, it has been ruled out as when Chelsea's Niamh Charles headed the ball down in the 6-yard box, it fell to Blackstenius, who has now been accused of handball before she scored. I've watched it back. It looks like the ball hits her stomach rather than her hand, but the goal has been ruled out. Alyssa Thompson's early goal still separates the two sides, and Arsenal have just brought on their £1 million signing Olivia Smith, who returns from injury. She replaces Katie McCabe, who was on a yellow card. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1.
Angelina, thank you very much. Here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's Spurs 0, Manchester United 1. And the second half, if you can bear it, is coming up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now, like Sunderland versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo? Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackies tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Ha, love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
Same.
Ho, ho, ho!
Same.
3, 2, 1.
Same.
Oh, thanks.
Same.
What does Santa call his dog?
Same. Same.
One word. 3 syllables.
Same. Same.
Sorry, it's a bit dry.
New plates.
Ooh.
Treat your table to something different this Christmas. Visit your local IKEA now. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there! His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result! Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in! Find out more at villagehotels.com.
The season's in full swing and it's action-packed. Make sure you're all over it with the Sun's free pull-out goals! With expert opinion and tactical analysis, you get it all with goals! And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals! Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then...
substitution.
His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Award-winning live football commentary.
Game day exclusive. Talksport.
Hello everybody, you're listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 1 over on Talksport 2. If you've been listening there, it's Millwall 1, Preston 1 in the Championship. Elsewhere in the second tier, Blackburn Rovers 0, Derby County 2 and Hull City 2, Portsmouth 2 in League 1, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Leyton Orient 1 and Northampton Town 0, Mansfield 1 and in League 2, Crewe and Shrewsbury are a goal apiece and Colchester United and Bromley are goalless. Now in the WSL, of course, they're into the second half. In both those games, it's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1 and Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 1. OK, let's turn our focus back to today's game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're going to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom from Betfair, thank you for joining us. You said at the start of the show that Manchester United were the favourites. Are they still the favourites given the first half showing?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise, wasn't it, given how recently, Manchester United, you don't really see them as favourites that often, but rightly so, they were favourites before the kick-off, and at half-time they lead by the 1-0. They're now as short as 4-9 to see this out and get the 3 points. But that being said, last time out Manchester United were a goal up, ending up with a 2-2 draw. Could something similar happen in this one? The draw is now 11-4. Spurs, can they turn it around? Reshmin, we spoke about their home form beforehand, as big as 7-1 now. How confident are you, Reshmin?
Not very. I'm not happy at all. I'm holding it in. I'm keeping my cool.
Understandably so. I mean, look, there's no shots on target in that first half from Spurs, just the one from United. Obviously, that's the goal, but they just look like they're lacking, don't they, in the forward positions. I mean, if they are going to get back into this, they're going to need one of those forward players, to come up with some goods. I mean, looking at the goal scorer market, anytime goal scorer market, Richarlison is in there at 100-30. He heads the market. That market as well, don't forget, covered by Betfair's Safe Sub. So if Spurs are going to get back into it, they are going to need their key players, Richarlison being one of them. Can Manchester United extend their lead? Bruno Fernandes 9-2 to get on the score sheet in the second half, and I mentioned him, didn't I, before kick-off. Brian Mbeumo absolutely loves a goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Can he double his tally for him to score 2 or more? Now 4-1, and Mbeumo hat-trick 60-1.
Don't even go there, Sam Rossbottom. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and EFL. He will be based in the Potteries for Stoke City against Coventry City, which is also live on Talksport 2. And if you're just tuning in, Middlesbrough have taken their manager Rob Edwards off their game at 3 o'clock today. That's against Birmingham City, as he looks set to become the new Wolves head coach. Now, the Teesside club have given Edwards permission to speak to the Premier League side, who he's played for over 100 times. Now, Chris Hull is at Middlesbrough against Birmingham City for Talksport. It's interesting, this. Let's get some reaction, because he's been speaking to the fans about their want-away manager.
I'm just outside the Riverside Stadium, and of course the news about Rob Edwards' potential departure and potentially imminent departure to Wolverhampton Wanderers is creating great debate. I've got a whole series of Borough fans around me. What's your name, sir, and what's your thoughts on it?
My name's Kevin. I think it's a disgrace, actually, that he's left.
Go on, tell me why.
Because he was all full on, kiss his badge and the fans, clapping their fans and thinking he loved the club, and then all of a sudden he's gone. But mind you, there's factors, isn't there? Factors for one is being more money. 2, he knows the club inside out. 3, he's got a family down there. So.
Yeah, thanks for that. What's your name, sir?
Keith.
Keith, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think it's a kick in the teeth, like Kev's just said. He got the fans all on his side, come within. No, he wasn't really a lot of people's first choice, but everyone's took to him. He's got off to a really good start, and for me, like I say, there's no coming back now. It'll be interesting to see what the fans think today, but it's just a kick in the teeth.
Some great feedback from the Riverside, from these Borough fans. Thank you.
What
the Borough, come on!
Chris Hull, thank you very much. Look, I'm going to bring in Adrian Durham. You're live at Stoke. You'll be keeping us updated with all the goals as they go in, including at the Riverside. What do you make of this Rob Edwards situation, Adrian? It's a very quick turnaround from, here I am at Middlesbrough, I really want to do well here.
Well, yeah, I mean, he also said he was privileged to be at Middlesbrough, and he was wowing about the training ground and all of that sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden, somebody else has come along. Listen, we've seen it so many times before, and you could go on about a lack of loyalty. He could have shown some loyalty. I think we all felt a lot of sympathy when he got the sack at Luton Town, despite the fact that, it was going to be 2 successive relegations for Luton, and he'd been at the heart of that. He'd taken them into the Premier League as well, but I don't think he can complain if he's ever sacked again, Rob Edwards. If it's about his family being in the Wolverhampton area, then why take the Middlesbrough job in the first place? I think that's a load of old rubbish. I'm sorry, I'm not having that at all. But I think he's let the Borough fans down by wowing about them and saying he's privileged and going on about how much he loves being there. That fan just then was absolutely spot on. So, not good. This doesn't look good. I can't wait to see the LMA statement about it.
Yeah, indeed, Adrian, thank you. Not a good look, is it, for Rob Edwards, but do stay tuned to Talksport for more news on that. Here, though, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the second half has kicked off, so I'm going to hand you back to Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface.
Yeah, we're underway at the start of the second half, and Tottenham have made a change. They've withdrawn Kola Mwani and they've brought on Wilson Odobert, who actually played quite well in the game against Copenhagen, scored a good goal, looks a little bit more alert recently, and Spurs are coming forward in the early exchanges with a ball from the right-hand side from Simons, delivered into the box, which is collected by Senna Lomans. He comes out, grabs it from high above his head and pulls it into his chest. So Tottenham now look like this, white shirts with thick armbands of navy blue, navy shorts and white socks, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half, which is not really what they want to be doing. Vicario is their goalkeeper. Porro, Romero has been booked, Van de Ven and Spence. Polinia and Sarr, the two holders. Johnson, Simons and Richarlison behind Wilson Odobert, who will, I think, go out to the left-hand side and Richarlison through the middle. Manchester United, they're in red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They're attacking the goal away to our left in this second half. They lead by 1-0 thanks to Mbeumo's 5th goal in 9 games against Tottenham. Lomans is the goalkeeper. The back three is De Ligt, Maguire and Shaw. Mazraoui and Dorgu are on the flanks. Ahmad, playing as one of the 10s, has just got in behind the defence. I think he felt he was offside there because he sort of slowed up rather than accelerated. Waited for a challenge which came from Romero. He dispossessed him and turned it around. The rest of the United team, Casemiro and Fernandes, Ahmad and Mbeumo, and then Cunha leading the line. Here comes Odobert down this left-hand side for Tottenham Hotspur, who trail by 1-0. Need to find a way back into the game, and getting back from losing positions this season has been a little bit tricky for Tottenham Hotspur. Cross into the box for Richarlison, and he's offside as the cross comes in. He didn't connect with it anyway. I don't know if Maguire just got a little nick on that, but certainly the offside flag was going up against him anyway. What do you make of the change, Stuart Pearce?
Well, I didn't think Mwani was doing that badly, to be quite honest with you. So whether there's been a slight niggle there or whatever, but obviously Thomas Frank deemed that he had to make a change in some way, shape or form to freshen things up. Just looking at Romero again, he just identified some danger and run straight out of his slot and let Ahmad go in behind him. It's terrible defending. I don't know what he's thinking about. I really don't. And it'll be very costly if he carries on doing that during the game.
Across goes Johnson, nudges the ball out towards the far side. It hits the Welshman last and goes out for a throw into Manchester United. Immediately given back, forced forward by Tottenham, and then headed down. We've had 171 days since the Europa League final between these two. It wasn't as bad as that in the first half, but it certainly did lack a little bit of quality. United trying to add a bit of that now with a good ball down the left for Dorgu, who brings Cunha into play on the edge of the area, steers it through the box. It's behind Mazraoui, but a little bit too far in front of Ahmad, and goes right through the other side. Back in by Mbeumo, into the box away by Van de Ven, who rises, heads it clear. Casemiro wins it, but then manages to poke it to Porro, who gets it up to Richarlison. He can't be precise enough with this pass to get Tottenham on an immediate counter-attack. United flex back with 6 getting into the defence as they come forward with Porro's cross is wild, and it goes through the box and out the other side, and it's away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. But 2 chances there, 2 breaks. Again, the final ball just not quite right.
Yeah, I think Cunha was trying to find Ahmad, if I'm not mistaken. It went beyond him, and then Mazraoui was coming in at the far post, but a really good opportunity breaking into Spurs box. And you get the impression when United attack that they will find gaps or mistakes within the Tottenham back line. I'm not sure I have the same feeling when Spurs are attacking United's back line.
Alex Crook is at West Ham United in their game today. Their supporters protesting outside the ground. He's been photographing that and putting that on social media today. And he will give us the team news very shortly from their match. Free kick for Manchester United just short of the halfway line. Ruben Amorim is just pacing inside the technical area, as he often does. Manchester United have struggled a little bit against Tottenham in recent years. They're winless against Spurs in the last 7. No one has beaten them in 5 straight games. In 23 years, the last team to do it were Liverpool in the early part of the 2000s. Tottenham could have done that today, but they'll need 2 goals to be able to beat Manchester United now, who lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of Mbeumo's header. The only shot on target, I think, in the game so far. Up towards Cunha, who flicks it round the corner, not going to reach Amad Diallo, away by Mickey van der Ven, and then all the way back to the goalkeeper, who is Vicario, who's been criminally underemployed, actually. In fact, both goalkeepers haven't really had to make a save in the match. The only chance that has really come that any of them could have got involved in was the Mbeumo header. Apart from that, it's been pretty tepid fare in front of goal. Here's Van der Ven. Up to halfway. Squares to Romero, who's been booked. Porro. Further wide to Brennan Johnson. Johnson drops a little deeper and sends it back into the path of his goalkeeper, Vicario. The Italian nudges it into midfield. And then they start to build through Polinia. Polinia is criticised, I think, for playing only sideways passes, but he has a big impact on the team in terms of its solidity. Played out to Spence and then back across the back 4 into Romero. And then into Sarr. Sarr back to Romero again. Simons. Romero. Spurs going nowhere on halfway. Clipping it forward now into Jed Spence, whose chest pushes the ball into the air. It's away by United, but one back by Sarr. Sarr's got it again after they half clear, and he sends it forward into the penalty area, but it's behind all the white shirts, picked up by Mazraoui. He shoots it clear, finds Cunha, and he's got the opportunity to try and send Brian Mbeumo on the escape, but he's being harassed brilliantly by Pap Sarr, who was terrific. And then he's hemmed in over on the far side. Dorgu backing him up. Play on, says the referee. 50-50. Cunha back in field to Casemiro. Stretches, pokes it through to Fernandes. He's got space for Mazraoui on the right. Should have passed it to him earlier. Didn't. Got snuffed away by Odegaard, but it's been turned over by Diallo. And then Amad Diallo finds Mazraoui. It's all a little bit scruffy, but Manchester United has still got the ball. Then they give it away. And now it's up from Polinia. Up into Richarlison. He tried to give it away. Then Simons does. And it's back with Senna Lomans away to our left-hand side. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, once again, I tell you what, it's absolutely horrific what Romero's doing at the moment. I don't want to pick on one individual, but he loses the ball in midfield or gets involved in that, and there's no recovery run from him at all. If you're a defender, you've got it in you. You're born with a defensive mindset of getting back goal side of the ball, and he doesn't, and it's really, really going to be costly to his team, not just today but going forward if he carries on playing in that manner.
He is the captain of the team, isn't he? He is the man who did a bit of a U-turn in the summer. Everyone expected him to go off to Spain. He didn't do that. He signed a longer term contract, became the captain after Son went to LA. Here is Spence, edge of the area, attacking for Tottenham now, away to our left-hand side. A slither of sunshine just peeks in over the top of the golden cockerel that stands above the raking south stand, and it's just obscuring the vision of the United supporters. It comes through to Paulinho inside the area. It bobbles around inside the box. Out on the left-hand side, it's picked up by Odegaard. His cross is stopped by Mazraoui. It's forced out for a throw down by the corner flag.
Yeah, if you're United now, you say, let's keep a solid back 5. Keep the ball in front of us and say to Tottenham, look.
Odegaard, lovely ball in towards Romero, steals in. It's a good save by Lomans. It's a brilliant save by Lomans. The arcing ball in from the near touchline was perfectly weighted for Romero, who came stealing in right in the middle of the goal and poked it goalwards. It was a beautiful save by Senna Lomans, who got down smartly to his right and managed to somehow kick the ball round the post. Back in from the corner. Cleared away by Casemiro. Back in by Simons to Porro again. Simons got it left side now, trying to swirl the ball back into a dangerous zone. It's away by Mazraoui, and Cunha has picked it up, but Simons is there, pinching it, turning it over, away by Shaw, but Simons was tugged back by Cunha, and that's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, best chance of this second half by Spurs by a long shot, flicked on at the near post from the maligned Romero. But I've got to say, if it had been either side of the goalkeeper, that ball's in the net. Lomans flat-footed on the line, but it's hit his right leg and cannoned out.
It's a really good delivery into the box, and Romero getting on the end of it. Smart reactions from the Belgian goalkeeper, who's made a good impact since coming in. He's not going to be perfect, and it's unfair, I think, to expect him to be. He's 23 years of age, but he is an accomplished goalkeeper. From what we've seen so far, he's done very well in helping Manchester United just solidify their base. They have a free kick, though, Tottenham, in the dead centre of the United half. Equidistant from both touchlines and midway between the edge of the penalty area and the centre circle. Spence floats it in towards the far edge of the box, away by Casemiro, comes back to Polini, another good save by Lomans down to his left, who parries the ball wide of the goal. It's picked up by Fernandes and then cleared by Manchester United. It's two good saves from Senna Lomans, and he may well just have kept Manchester United on top. Here's Romero down the right looking for Johnson, half cleared by United. Just a little bit more intensity about Spurs in the last few minutes. That's a foul by Jed Spence. That's going to be a free kick to United in the left full-back position.
Yeah, Tottenham looking as though they're pushing now. Had two really good chances, and United are looking slightly vulnerable. It's Casemiro at the far post. He's got a great header on it, but he's put it straight back into the danger zone, and the sting just taken out of the full volley by it bouncing in front of Lomans.
Do you know what? That chance that Lomans has had to save there, the fact that it goes on target is, I think, down to an anomaly of the handball rule. The fact that Harry Maguire was so scared about having his arms in an unnatural position, he was trying to pull his arms in so tight, he was twisting sort of almost away from the ball. In doing so, it meant that the ball bounced down in between his legs and scooted on target. And actually, if he had not been so conscious of where his arms were, he might have blocked that.
Yeah, it's the nature of the laws of the game now. Defenders approach players in a Johnny Metgod type stance from back in the 80s.
Oh dear, kids, you're going to have to get out your phones and Google that one. Johnny Metgod, former Nottingham Forest and Danish player. Dutch, sorry. He was in the Ajax team, wasn't he?
Yes, I think so. And we signed him from Real Madrid,
yes.
Actually.
Here is Odobert. Back towards the centre circle. Clipped forward by Porro. Away by Mazraoui. Connected by Cunha, who's midway inside the Tottenham half. Well there, Casemiro, to win the ball and take it beyond Polini, and then swept forward by Fernandes. Not the easiest ball for Mbeumo to chase, but he will get there ahead of Pedro Porro. He drags him up the pitch towards the edge of the area. On the overlap is Dorgu. Dorgu down by the byline, produces a cross. It sort of caught out Vicario and everyone in a red shirt because the quality of his delivery was so poor, but I think in the end it sort of almost shanked towards the goal. Goes out on this near side. It's a throw-in, and there's going to be a substitution, Mazraoui for Šeško.
Yeah, great opportunity, great build-up, and then Dorgu there, he's just sort of, I don't know, closed his foot and hit it, and he's got it so wrong. Good opportunity, though.
Well, Benjamin Šeško comes on. Manchester United lead by 1-0 on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Sky Sports' big weekend, you can stream it. It includes Sunderland versus Arsenal, live today, available with no contract. On now, search Now Sports. Šeško coming into the attack, and that just means that Ahmad will go to right wing back now, and those three have been working quite well together in Mbeumo, Šeško and Cunha in the last few weeks of the season. He's scored a couple of goals against Sunderland and Brentford, Šeško, and Mbeumo obviously spurs off him quite well, so does Cunha. Be interesting to see what Manchester United do here, because I do feel as if they were losing a little bit of impetus in the game, and Amorim has reacted.
Yeah, as I say, Spurs have come back into the game slightly. They've had two decent opportunities, and United, from looking rock solid earlier, have looked a little bit vulnerable defensively, but they're still in a good shape. 1-0 up at the moment.
Over on Talksport 2, it's still Millwall 1, Preston 1. 2-2 Hull Portsmouth in the Championship, and Derby lead Blackburn by 2-0. Derby on a terrific run. I think that'll be 5 wins in a row if they win today. There's a foul here on Pedro Porro, which is going to stop the game. And Sam Barrett just explaining to the two captains, Fernandes and Romero, there was an accidental collision with the Mbeumo elbow, which has delayed proceedings here. So we can go off to the London Stadium, where Alex Crook has removed himself from the protests to find out a little bit more about who's going to be selected in the teams today. Crookie.
And with those West Ham fans once again venting their frustration against the owners outside the stadium, the host named the same 11 that beat Newcastle here last weekend. That means Callum Wilson is fit despite some concerns he's missed training this week. One change for Burnley. Loom Chowner is in for Josh Lauren. 3 o'clock kickoff here as West Ham take on Burnley.
Well, where we're sitting right now in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this week will be the location of next week's big fight. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn next Saturday live on Talksport from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Heavyweight Dave Allen joins our boxing team that will keep you right across a busy fight week. Don't forget you can watch along with us on the night over on the Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. That is Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn next Saturday night live on Talksport or watch on DAZN.
Was it Eubank and Watson that fought in this stadium back in the day?
At White Hart Lane, yes, that was a very long time ago, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. That, I think that's early 90s, wasn't it? Maybe late 80s.
Yeah. We come with a minibus of Nottingham Forest players to watch that fight that evening.
And that was when that division in particular was all the rage, wasn't it?
Yeah, Eubank, Benn and Watson.
Collins as well, soon afterwards. Steve Collins, the Irishman.
Indeed.
Here is Polinia trying to get beyond Šeško. Tries to nudge it forward, can't do so. So across comes Shaw. Shaw tight to the touchline, dispossessed by Simons, and then it's picked up over on the far touchline by Polinia again, who's taken off his Under Armour in this second half. He's wearing a short sleeve shirt now. Has it, turns, wins it. Clips it forward in towards Richarlison. He takes it down well, turns it round the corner looking for Johnson, who goes to ground too easily, and Manchester United bring the ball clear. Šeško going through the middle, Cunha running into traffic, comes out to Fernandes, but Porro wins that duel. He fires it in towards Richarlison, who feeds it to Johnson, one-on-one, slips it under the goalkeeper, scores, but he's offside. And the delight that the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium expresses is short-lived. And Brennan Johnson, whose goal-scoring record was terrific last season, finished that really well, but the referee and the linesman have conspired to raise the flag, and they were right to do so. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, he's probably about a yard and a half offside, but a couple of flimsy challenges from the United players that enabled that set-up, but Spurs are looking more and more likely to pull back into this game at this moment in time, and you would think maybe United need a second to actually get more than a point.
Well, they do, because they've had these wobbles before. If you go back over their last few weeks since they lost on their last trip to London and a defeat to Brentford, they beat Sunderland with goals from Šeško and Mount. Then they went away and stunned Anfield, but did concede in that game and had to fight back right at the very end, and Burma and Maguire on the score sheet. They took a 3-goal lead against Brighton a couple of weeks ago, but had a wobble and won 4-2. And then they drew 2-2 at Forest last week, having taken the lead in that game as well. They are in good form by their recent standards, but they are not a 100% secure. Free kick on the halfway line. Back to Van de Ven, who strides forward towards the left. Odegaard is under pressure from Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo tries to nudge him backwards, so we'll go off to the Hill Dickinson Stadium and find out the team news from Matt Jones.
Just the one change for Everton from their draw with Sunderland. Jake O'Brien drops to the bench. Imirabuna is in for him, meaning James Garner moves to fullback. As for Fulham, Sasa Lukic is in for Josh King, who drops to the bench. Everton against Fulham from 3.
All the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham from 2:30 this afternoon. We've got the phone in from 5:30 with Cundy and O'Hara. And then later on tonight, we've got full commentary of Chelsea against Wolves from the Premier League. A double dip of Premier League football for you today. Let's go off to the WSL. A goal for Angelina Kelly.
It's Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1, a goal for Alessia Russo as she equalises. There was a great diagonal ball from the right-hand side from Frida Marnham into the box to Russo. She fired it into the bottom of the near corner. She did look offside in the replays, but the goal stands. Hannah Hampton maybe should have done a little bit better. She'll be kicking herself. Frida Marnham then thought that she had made it 2 goals for Arsenal. However, her goal was ruled offside. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.
Well, Chelsea have dropped just 2 points from their opening 7 games in the WSL this season. They were looking to establish an 8-point gap over Arsenal, but they've been pegged back after having opportunities to get the second in that game. 65 gone here. It's 1-0 to United. Ball into the near post looking for Richarlison. A bit of a scuffle between him and Maguire. Accusations of handball. Falls on deaf ears. Šeško links it out towards Mbeumo far side. Goes through the legs of Romero. And he's brought down Mbeumo. And there's a few United players who are quite rightly, I think, raising the prospect of a second yellow card there, because that was breaking up a promising attack. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, that's what he does best. He just comes out of his slot and just commits himself to a challenge. He either gets it or he's very close to a booking each time.
Well, he's certainly walking a disciplinary tightrope now, isn't he? On Christian Romero, as he often does. Up towards Šeško it goes. He tries to get the flick on, doesn't land it, but shows he's a brilliant athletic ability to get up and try and challenge for a header. Didn't get a glancer. Goes back to the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's all the way to Vicario. Vicario wide towards the right. Now it's collected by Porro. He fires it forward. And a challenge by Johnson on Dorgu generates a throw-in over on the far side, and we are going to get a change here for Tottenham in the next few moments. Destiny Udogie, who hasn't had the best of times, comes into the team from the on the left-hand side, which will mean a bit of a shift around. Jed Spence is there at the moment, and he's galloping forward. I think it's going to be Pedro Porro who comes off, and Spence will go to the other side. Palhinha, centre field, into Romero. He strokes it wide towards the Tottenham right. They need to find a way back into this game. They need a bit of wit and craft here, Spurs. Porro to the edge of the area, tries to come up the cross. It's blocked by Mbeumo. Accusations again of handball that don't get warranted by the referee, and then a poor challenge by Fernandez. The ball bounces into Porro's path, then a poor pass by Johnson sends it out of play, and it goes out for a throw over on the far side. And when we look back at this game, and I'm not sure we'll look back at too many highlights, Stuart Pearce, there will be a lack of quality that really has determined the outcome of the match. There needs to be just a bit more composure and precision in the final third from Tottenham if they're going to get anything from this game, as Udogie comes on for Porro.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. As I say, it's that little bit of quality in the final third that it's what get you over the line or what doesn't get you over the line, basically. And I think as the game stands at this moment in time, and I've no idea how it'll finish, United have been a bit more clinical at the front end of the team, and probably more importantly at the back end of their team defensively.
Finishing the WSL, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 1. It's a big result in that division. Manchester United towards the upper end of it. To give you an updated league table at the conclusion of the Arsenal-Chelsea game. 68 gone, it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 1, and the grey clouds have been replaced by a rather beautiful blue sky which is hovering over our heads here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's played down the right for Brennan Johnson. Across comes Dorgu, volleys it out of play, and it goes out for a throw-in. Pedro Porro is walking all around the perimeter of the playing surface. He's getting a standing ovation from the supporters. Richarlison keeps the ball alive brilliantly ahead of Luke Shaw. Comes back to Papshar. He was encouraged to hit it, didn't quite get hold of it. Udogie takes it on, goes down the left, combines well with Papshar again. Sarr, little turn, sends a dummy for Casemiro into Udogie inside the area. Lovely little trick, then fends the ball into the centre, and it was a inaccurate pass, not to a white shirt but a red one, and Fernandez gets it clear, only as far as Palhinha, who bounds forward. Tottenham have come back to win a couple of points already this season. They were 1-1 with they were 1-0 down to Wolverhampton Wanderers for a long time, and then managed to get a late Palhinha goal to save 2 points. Here on the left hand side is Udogie. He gets nudged off the ball by Amad Diallo, and it goes out towards the left. It's picked up by Sarr again. Angle of the penalty area, right footed cross, headed away by Dorgu. Not a great header, and it's almost collected by Mbeumo just in time, because Jed Spence was coming across to try and disrupt him. It's a long raking ball down the left, and Šeško is chasing, and he's going to get beyond Christian Romero here. He's peeled away to the left wing position. He's got Cunha waiting in the centre. He holds it, waits, brings Mbeumo into play. Back to Dorgu once more. United now turn towards an attacking phase of the game. They get up towards the edge of the penalty area, go back again to halfway, and we can go off to Angelina Kelly, who's got full time at the Emirates.
Full time, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. WSL leaders Chelsea are held to a draw by Arsenal despite leading the game from the 9th minute, thanks to their club record signing Alyssa Thompson, who chipped the ball beautifully into the back of the net. Arsenal did not give up. They had an array of chances, 2 of which were disallowed goals from Stina Blackstenius and Frida Marnham. And in between those 2 goals, it was Alessia Russo in the 87th minute who got the equaliser in front of a crowd of over 56,000 people here at the Emirates today. Full time, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.
Everton play Manchester City tomorrow, and if Manchester City win that game, they can go top now as a result, because Chelsea have 20 points from 8 games, Manchester City 7 games played, 18 points, and Manchester United, who dropped points today, 17 points from 8 games. It feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. There's going to be a break here while Maguire gets a bit of treatment, and then there's going to be 3 changes for Manchester United. Lenny Yoro, Ugarte and Mount about to come into the team. Stuart Pearce, what difference will that make?
Well, they're going to freshen it up. I would think they'll keep the same shape without a doubt, because this shape is sort of proving fairly fruitful at this moment in time, even though they're sustaining a little bit more pressure than they actually have. I don't know whether his mentality is, look, we might need to get another one to come away with a victory in this game. I'm not seeing us going 90 odd minutes and keeping a clean sheet. They found a newfound confidence. I think that victory at Anfield has given that at United.
Casemiro, Cunha and Maguire all off for Manchester United. Ugarte, Yoro and Mount come into the game for the away team, who lead by a 1-0. And United have had the most shots on target in the league this season. 54, level with Chelsea. Spurs have struggled for their part to find a path to goal for most of the season, but funny things happen when they play Manchester United. And if you have a look at the attempts, Spurs' second fewest attempts in the league before today. They've only had 2 shots on target in the game and only 5 shots in total. Manchester United 4 and 1 on target. That's the goal. Šeško managing to win the ball. Mount getting hold of it 10 yards short of the penalty area, wide right hand side, collected by Ahmad. Then it's on to Yoro. Yoro into Ugarte. Rolls it back away from the attentions of Richarlison and to halfway where De Ligt has it now. Out to Yoro once again. Into Ahmad. And then all the way back to Lenny Yoro. And Manchester United comfortable in possession deep inside their own territory. Some big fixtures to come after the international break for both these 2 teams, and what a huge fixture Tottenham have got next. They're going away to Arsenal. Clip on by Mbeumo in towards Šeško. Šeško running through the middle, but the offside flag is up. Anyway, live commentary on Talksport 2 from 3 o'clock comes from the top of the Championship. Stoke City against Coventry City, and team news comes from Talksport's Adam Bridge.
Stoke have won their last 3, but they make 3 changes. Bocat, Seko and Nzonzi drop out. Beijing, Ho, Cresswell and Pearson come in. As for Coventry City, looking to record a second straight victory after midweek win over Sheffield United. 1 change there. Josh Eccles is out. Mason Clark's back in. Chris Iwelumo is alongside me live on Talksport 2 from 3 this afternoon.
What a poor clearance that was from Tottenham Hotspur. They had a free kick inside their own half from a offside, which Šeško was adjudged to have committed. And they gave it straight back to United. And then when they attempted to clear, Romero dollies the ball back up to Fernandes, and the pressure remains on Stuart Pearce. They've got a throw in now, far side Manchester United.
Yeah, I think if I was a chief scout sent here to have a look at Romero today, I would certainly say he's a weakness. You can get him behind him, and if you're looking to recruit him, I would say leave him where he is, because I'm not sure he senses danger greatly, you know.
Well, he certainly didn't sense that danger, which was Šeško kicking him in the face. He's gone down under pressure from the big, tall striker. He seemed to stick his head actually towards Šeško's foot more than anything else.
I think that's more to the point.
He did actually headbutt his foot there, didn't he? He sort of leaped down far enough to sort of connect with the top of the boot. Very weird. You're listening to Tottenham Hotspur now, Manchester United 1 on Talksport. With Enterprise Rent-A-Car here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. A lack of urgency from Spurs, and that's starting to just upset 1 or 2 in this crowd. And Manchester United, who have made assertive changes to try and keep a grip on the game after that grip appeared to be loosening, have just taken more control once again. It is 1-0 to Manchester United, who after the international break have Everton on Monday Night Football here on Talksport, Palace away, West Ham live at home at Old Trafford on Talksport on a Thursday night in the midweek round of matches, and then Wolves live on another Monday night football on Talksport. Here on the left is Dorgu, taking the ball into the penalty area. Polina has brought him down, and that was quite agricultural from Polina.
Unbelievable. Honestly, I know I'm going on about it. Just look at Romero's position. He's come out to defend the ball. The ball's gone behind him, and he literally stopped and walked and looked at his defensive colleagues and went, "Good luck, lads. I'll get back when I can." Unbelievable.
Slightly frustrating for a former defender of your ilk to see such negligence. A yellow card for Polina. And a free kick to Manchester United over on the far side.
If only we'd have had a charity bet on. Oh, hang on, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, but we need Mickey van der Ven to get a goal at the other end here, so don't get too excited. 15 minutes to go. Here's the free kick taken by Bruno Fernandes. He's got a clutch of red shirts to aim at. 4 of them in the 6-yard box. De Ligt just further back than that. He makes a run towards the near post, but he's being watched by Brennan Johnson. There's a lot of wrestling going on. It's flicked on by Dorgu, and then it's helped towards his own goal by Sarr. There was a lot of pushing and pulling going on. Johnson had to be really careful not to get penalised, but eventually Vicario distributes the ball towards this near side, and Tottenham come up the pitch. United very quick to get back into shape. And we've complained about Manchester United not doing the dirty work off the ball for a long time, but I think actually, it's not always perfect, but in today's game you've seen an evolution in that regard.
I think their shape's been pretty good and they've worked, and I've seen it's when the front players get back into slot nice and quickly, that's the mark of a team, and that's certainly been the case. I've seen Mbeumo putting a real shift in for his team defensively.
Simons tries to nudge the ball with his chest, but he was also nudged from behind by Luke Shaw, and then Richarlison and Lenny Yoro get into a little bit of a tangle on halfway. Referee Sam Barrett comes across to separate them, and Bentancur is about to come on with Matisse Tell, I think, for Tottenham as they look to try and change things with 14 minutes to go. It's Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Polina, under pressure, turns, plays it back to halfway. Mickey van der Ven strides forward. He moves up towards around about 15 yards inside United territory, gives it to Odegaard, and he rather tepidly gives it back to Amad Diallo, who's brushed off the ball too easily, and then Mount's got the opportunity to release Šeško, and he does that onto the edge of the area. Šeško inside the box now, tries to take a touch and come in field, but he runs into Jed Spence. Maybe it wasn't the right idea, and Spence pilfers the ball, takes it to the right fullback position and manages to clear it away, and it remains 1-0 to Manchester United. And they've got the ball in the centre circle with Bruno Fernandes. A little reverse pass into Dorgu. Šeško peels away. Dorgu skips past one challenge and runs into another. And then the ball turns over despite a Dorgu foul. I don't know what he was doing there. Tottenham has slowed up. They're waiting for the foul to come. The referee played the advantage. They're supposed to be getting on with the game, and the crowd don't like the fact that they're not. Here's Simons now, trying to look for an option. Richarlison gives it back to him. Edge of the area. He still wanders forward, wanders into red shirts, and Ahmad now takes over and runs it clear for Manchester United. He gets up to the halfway line, comes in field, and Van der Ven just smashes the ball out of play.
Well, I've got to say, the Spurs fans should get frustrated. They've turned the ball over and there's no energy for their players to surge forward. There really isn't.
Polina, having picked up his yellow card, is off, and on comes Bentancur, and now Xavi Simons is coming off and Tell is coming on, and the Spurs fans do not like that. I think he's played quite well today, Xavi Simons.
Yeah, he's wanted the ball and knitted things together. He's not found that killer pass within the game, but as a manager, you need to keep some semblance of balance within the group, I suppose.
I'm not sure that's gone down particularly well with the locals. But Bentancur and Tell are on, and it's still 1-0 to Manchester United. Diego Dallo has got stripped and ready for action. Here is Papsar picking the ball up centre field, charges into the Manchester United half. He works it wide to Johnson, who's crossed from the edge of the area, is aimed towards Richarlison. It's over his head, slips out of the area the other side, comes through to Mason Mount, who intelligently plays it against a doggy, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left. It's currently Tottenham 0, Manchester United 1. And for the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Spurs to win 14-1, a Manchester United victory is 7-2 on, and the draw is 16-5. That's all thanks to Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+, begambleaware.org. Dallo on for Dorgu, and I think that might be a byproduct of that yellow card that he's just picked up, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, just I think if United or either team go down to 10 men, that the score will stay the same, that is for sure. So probably a wise move there.
I mean, Tottenham will be, I think, very disappointed again with another attacking play. What's the expected goals from today's game? Can we get that? Can we try and find that? Because last week's performance at home against Chelsea was certainly a letdown in that regard. The lowest home performance of the season. Their expected goals today a little bit better, 0.55. And the big chance that they had was the Richarlison one in the first half. He's given the ball away rather sloppily, straight to Ahmad on the halfway line. He faces up a Doggy, runs down the right. He's just a couple of yards inside the Tottenham half before he decides to go backwards rather than forwards, as Manchester United prioritise security over adventure. And that's thrusted forward by Dallo rather aimlessly, given back to Tottenham Hotspur. And Tottenham come forward down the left. It has been a scrappy game of football at times. Sarr did his best to try and give that to Mount. Did just about find Udogie. 81 gone. Manchester United leading by a goal to nil. After that Arsenal game that Tottenham have got after the international break, by the way, they go off to PSG as well. Bentancur forcing the ball forward. Richarlison chasing. Shaw coming across and tidying up. And then Ahmad, again, just taking no chances, launching it over the halfway line. And it goes all the way through to Vicario. Manchester United almost looking now, Stuart, like a back five.
Yeah, as I say, they'll be quite happy with that. You'd fully expect that to be the case and just keep everyone in slot.
Richarlison shooting from the edge of the area, but it was an impossible angle. Seshko holding the ball up well. The ball flicked over the top. Ahmad is going to get there. Oh, it just bounced awkwardly for him and he couldn't get hold of it on the first bounce, and that meant it just sent him a little bit wide. Audebert comes back and gets into position.
I think this is what's going to frustrate the Tottenham fans. There's no enthusiasm from the Tottenham players at the moment. They're out of possession. I don't see anyone breaking their neck to get the ball back.
Brilliant ball round the corner from Mbeumo. Into space down the left side for Dallo. Dallo to the edge of the box, turns it back to Mbeumo now and decides not to cross it. They just keep it deep inside the Tottenham half of the field. Then they try to draw a foul. They win a throw-in instead. It's a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur over on the far side. Blackburn 1, Derby 2. Hull 3, Portsmouth 2, and Millwall 1, Preston 1 from the Championship. Arsenal drew with Chelsea in the WSL. It's only the second time that Chelsea have been pegged back this season. Aston Villa beat Manchester United, who remain third in that competition. Ball out again for a throw over on the far side. This time it's a Tottenham throw. In League One, Northampton lead Mansfield by 2-1. Wickham thrashing Leyton Orient. And in League Two, Bromley 2-0 up away at Colchester, and Crewe 2-1 up against Shrewsbury. Jed Spence launches the ball down the touchline, only finds Luke Shaw. Shaw centrally to Fernandez. Fernandez plays it into Mason Mount. First time ball round the corner is a good one. He then tries to win it back as it comes back off Sheshko. Audebert brings it forward. Travels down the left. He's being chased by Ugarte. Ugarte can't get near him. The Doggy's cross into the box, comes through to Tell. Good turn, good shot. Deflection into the roof of the net, and Tottenham are level. Off the bench to a chorus of boos as he replaced Xavi Simons. But he has delivered, and sometimes the managers maybe do know best. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 1.
Well, there wasn't a build-up of pressure in any way, shape or form when the ball went in the box. They allowed Tell to turn. He done extremely well to do so, I must say. And just a deflection. Wrong-footed the goalkeeper. Couldn't do anything about that, and it's game on.
Well, 6 minutes to go. Is there going to be a winner in the match? Tottenham Hotspur have come from one down to get back level, just as they did in the Wolves game here. Matisse Tell off the bench to do so. Thomas Frank's substitution when it happened wasn't universally popular. I think it's a little bit more popular now.
Yeah, and this game could swing either way. We're 80 odd minutes into it and we still don't know which way this one will go.
Here comes the throw from Dallo on the far side as he looks to launch a long one in towards the box. It is a long one. It's flicked into the air by Bentancur ahead of Lenny Yoro. And then De Ligt tries to hold it back towards Fernandez, and then he throws himself on the floor rather dramatically. Richarlison beaten to it by Agate. The ball spirals around in midfield. Romero jumps over Mason Mount and has a little word with him on the way out as well. Lomans has it back on the edge of his own penalty area. We could be in for some finish here. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 1. Ball sent forward up towards Šeško, who gets it onto Mount. It's a lovely little delivery, and the reverse ball to Šeško is brilliant. He tries to steer it past the goalkeeper, but Mickey van der Ven with a terrifically timed tackle gets back, nabs the ball and stops him from pulling the trigger at the vital moment. I mean, he's faster than a Formula 1 car, that fella.
Well, with his central defensive partner, he needs to be quick.
Odegaard, Šeško down inside the penalty area at the other end. Sarr forward, onto Richarlison, away to the right for Brennan Johnson. Johnson with a cross into the box, stopped by Dallo, comes off Johnson, goes out for a goal kick, and two players need treatment. One of them is Christian Romero in the centre circle, and on the edge of the box at the other end, Benjamin Šeško, who I think might be out of gas and unable to continue. It's a knee injury, I think.
Yeah. Ducked him well, but great defensive recovery there by Van der Ven. Just swept his left leg outside of the left foot, just across the face of the ball. His goalkeeper come out and just solved the problem for him.
Well, Romero, I think, is going to be replaced immediately by Kevin Danso. But what about Benjamin Šeško? Because should he have to come off here, Manchester United have used all 5 of their substitutes. So Danso on, Romero off. And extensive treatment now being applied to the left leg of Benjamin Šeško. And I don't know how many minutes are going to be added on at the end of this game, Stuart, but the last thing Manchester United want is A, to lose a player and go down to 10, but also to lose Benjamin Šeško for any period of time.
Yeah, I don't think you need this stage of the season. The only good thing you would say is an international break coming up, gives the players a couple of weeks on recovery. But yeah, and he doesn't look too clever, does he? Looks as though he's got a breeze block in one of his boots at the moment, the way he's walking.
Well, he isn't going to be able to continue, I don't think. He's hobbling. And as Romero gets a standing ovation from the Tottenham fans as he's come off to be replaced by Danso, Šeško hobbles off with a serious problem, and Manchester United reluctantly have to accept that they will finish this game with 10 players, having used all 5 of their substitutes. And they've almost been back to full strength, actually. Only Lisandro Martinez has got to come back. Conversely, Tottenham have got a serious problem in terms of injuries. No Maddison, Solanke, Kulusevski, Dragusin, Basuma, Davis, Takai, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall has been out and still remains out after the concussion protocol from last week. But that's not good looking for Benjamin Šeško. Ball sent long by Lomans. Comes through to Udogie. 2 minutes. Can Tottenham turn the game on its head? It's 1-1 on Talksport. Sarr picks it up. Nudges it forward. And, well, it almost came through to Brennan Johnson. Johnson now has funneled back to win it right side. Into the central area of Mickey van der Ven. Van der Ven out to Udogie. Van der Ven now wearing the captain's armband. Tries to get it out to Odegaard. Odegaard goes beyond Amad Diallo, produces a cross into the box. It's headed away by Shaw in front of Richarlison, who was lurking with serious intent. Back to Kevin Danso. Van der Ven has it once more, sprays it out to the left. Tottenham putting pressure on as Manchester United retreat. It's Odegaard down the left-hand side, cross into the box. Tell trying to fend it goalwards, took a deflection, took the sting out of it, didn't get a clean finish on it anyway, and it's smothered by Lomans just wide of his left-hand upright. And Manchester United are going to be playing survival football for the next couple of minutes, I think, Stuart.
They certainly are. This going down to 10 men's been a big problem. Ahmad now, from looking reasonably rock solid as a right wing back, he's looked very, very shaky. Odebear's gone past him quite comfortably, and Spurs are the ones on the front foot now.
Well, whoever won here today could have gone second. There might be some time to win it just yet too, because there's going to be 6 added minutes at the end of the 90, and that will encourage Spurs. Ball out wide towards Jed Spence as they come forward into the Manchester United half of the field in the fading sunshine here. Has just gone beyond the cockerel now, and there's only just a little sliver of sunshine eking its way onto the pitch as we approach injury time at the end of the game. Tottenham playing all the football inside the United half. Spence with the cross in towards the near post, put behind by De Ligt, and it's a corner kick.
Yeah, good defensive position there. That's what they've got to do, Spurs. Get this ball out wide, take the wing backs on. Odebear out on the left hand side and Spence on that right hand side on that occasion.
Going to be a corner over on the far side. 5 goals already from set pieces this season for Tottenham Hotspur. Is there going to be another set-piece goal? The cameras focus their lens on Mickey van der Ven, who starts to try and manoeuvre a bit of space inside the box. The corner from Tell is taken right-footed, aimed in towards the near post, comes out towards Odebear, whose first-time shot takes a deflection, it's in, and Richarlison scores. He scores the winner in stoppage time for Tottenham Hotspur. He rips off his shirt after flicking that ball that came back in from Odebear into the goal at the far corner beyond Lonnens, and he runs and celebrates with the Tottenham Hotspur fans. They've had a bad time at home for a while, but today is going to be a rare good day. Disappointment again for Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, down to 10 men and down on the scoreboard again. Richarlison celebrates, an emotional moment for him. It's 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. They've come from behind to win it.
Well, I'm not sure a victory is what Spurs deserves on the run of play, but they've certainly got it. The rub of the green's gone their way. United going down to 10 men. Romero, who come off about 5 minutes ago injured, sprinted down the touchline to celebrate with his team. And it's that sort of genuineness and honesty that will really keep Spurs in a good place this season.
If you take that tongue firmly out of your cheek now.
Indeed. I've got to say, he's guided it really well. The shot was on its way, might have been just outside the far post, and he's just got the deftest of touches into the far corner, Richarlison.
Look, I've seen them a lot this season. I went to the Arctic Circle with them earlier in the campaign when they, for large portions of the match, were second best in the match with Bodo Glimt, and somehow came up with 2 late goals to get themselves a point in the match. They haven't been great here today either. It hasn't been a super performance, but that was a super goal to win the game right at the very end, and Richarlison, well, he absolutely loved it. He ripped his shirt off, he took the yellow card, he was not too fussed about that. But Tottenham are going to end Manchester United's unbeaten sequence, and they're going to go up to second in the table. And you might not like the performances. Thomas Frank has been quite open about it. No excuses, we've still got work to do. But you can't fault the results. You can't fault the fact that they've scored the goals that have been required to get them points on the board. With Liverpool playing Manchester City tomorrow, Tottenham Hotspur going second. They'll finish the weekend probably above one of them.
Yeah, the bottom line is Tottenham at this moment are second in the division, and that for me is a wonderful start to the Premier League campaign this year for them. The U's and the R's, whichever way you look at it. I saw them at Leeds a few weeks ago, and they were strong enough to win the game there, and they've done exactly the same today, and it's results that matter.
Van der Ven forward, picked up by Sarr. Back to Sarr, who drives it all the way back to his goalkeeper Vicario, kicks it long. We've played 94 of the 96 that have been allotted. Away by De Ligt, picked up by Bentancur. He pokes it wide, Odebear gets there. It's in by Udogie. Upfield it goes. Ugarte keeps hold of it for Manchester United, and then Fernandes tries to turn it forward. They're down to 10 players, remember, Manchester United, after the injury to Šeško. But Shaw forcing the ball forward up to Mbeumo, smothered by Van de Ven. Ball goes out towards the far side, and it's collected now by Dalot, and he hits it against the referee. It didn't change possession, he didn't need to stop that there. Manchester United had it and still do. Here's Fernandes, onto Yoro out wide towards the right, as the clock countdown continues over on the far side. And then it's picked up by Ahmad, who looks to try and force some pressure onto Tottenham in the final exchanges here. Again, eyes glance up to that big clock away to our right, where there are now just 1 minute and 15 seconds of stoppage time that have been allotted by the referee. Mbeumo with a ball into the near post, takes a deflection, goes out for a corner. Is there a chance for Manchester United to stop Tottenham from winning it now?
Well, this could be the last chance of the game. We've got into the last minute of the game. Everyone's up, the goalkeeper's up.
Senna Lomans has come up to try and disrupt the back line and just make sure that the full complement of numbers are inside the penalty area. Everyone, apart from Dalot and Ahmad, who are right on the edge of the penalty area, are inside the Tottenham box. The crossing towards the back post. It's De Ligt, and he has stolen a point. He's got up highest, and he's headed the ball beyond Vicario. And Manchester United, having looked as if they were going to lose the game in stoppage time, have managed to come back and garner a point. Matthijs De Ligt with a thundering header at the far post. Tottenham switched off from the last set piece of the game, and it has cost them dear. Their home woes continue. Manchester United are going to spare their blushes and preserve their unbeaten run. Tottenham Hotspur supporters start to stream down the exits. They know that their team have switched off right at the very last. Johnson got drawn in with the goalkeeper. De Ligt peeled off to the back post, headed it firmly beyond Vicario, and it's 2-2.
Well, I've got to say, on the run of play for both teams, a draw is probably a fair result, but Tottenham will be kicking themselves. They really will. They've got their nose in front. United down to 10 men. And I've got to say, De Ligt powered a fantastic header at that far post into the net, but the marking was woefully inadequate eventually.
Well, it's sometimes been a low-budget one, but it's turned into quite a lunchtime feast of goals, hasn't it?
Well,
Manchester United think they can win it here, by the way. Yellow card for Kevin Danso for holding up a promising attack. 2-2. What was Richarlison thinking? He thought he'd won it. He ripped his shirt off. He almost dived into the crowd. We thought he'd won it. Reshmin thought she'd won it. She was taking videos and selfies and celebrating next to Flex, trying to wind him up. But now it's 2-2 and he's got his own back. And all of a sudden, maybe Manchester United feel that with 10 players, they can come back and win the game. 2-2 the score. Ball up towards the edge of the area. It's headed forward by Tell. Running out of time here now. We've played nearly 8 minutes. We only were supposed to add on 6. That's enough, says the referee. And Tottenham Hotspur go home with just a point when they thought that they'd won all 3. The players collapse onto the floor. Richarlison drops to the ground. His head is in his hands. He slams the floor in frustration. Senna Lomans, whose contribution can't be underestimated because it was his presence inside the penalty area that distracted the Tottenham defence, who switched off criminally to allow De Ligt to use him as a decoy, peel off towards the far post and head the ball home. Ruben Amorim has managed to get something from a trip to Tottenham Hotspur, and the Tottenham fans wait for a Premier League home victory goes on. It's been 53 days, 3 Forest managers, a whole celebrity series of traitors since they beat Burnley here on opening day. And right at the very end of this game, when they thought they were going to get those 3 points, they were denied by Matthijs de Ligt at the far post. Spurs go 3rd, United go 7th, Tottenham 2, Manchester United 2.
Oh, Sam, Stu, Flex, producer Izzy, I don't know what to say. What for such a game of such low quality, trying to find any kind of shoot of positivity from it, and then we get an ending like that. I mean, to be honest, that is a bit of a saviour, really, for the Premier League, because that was such a poor showing from either side. I do agree with you, Stuart. I think draw is probably about right for both sides, particularly with Manchester United going down to 10 men as well. For Tottenham Hotspur to let it slip in that way, criminal defending is how you described it, Stuart Pearce. I don't think you're wrong. How do you switch off at that point when you're a man up, a goal up, and minutes away from taking your first 3 points since August at home?
Yeah, well, you won't get a better opportunity. You've just got to defend one corner to keep you in the game, and they failed to do that. I think it was Brennan Johnson who was assigned to De Ligt, and he lost him. De Ligt's movement was too good for him. He peeled off to the far post and just comfortably guided a header into the post. But you know what? I think Spurs reacted. Bear in mind they're on home pitch here. They reacted to the goals, and you saw more energy from their team. It needed more energy in all the moments and all the minutes in between more than anything. And I know I've been on his case all day, but if Romero's captaining this team, the quickest I saw him run in this second half was when he sprinted from the halfway line to celebrate the winning goal, and he come off injured. Come on now. That's just not right. It really is not right. And, well, listen, both teams probably got what they want, and when the dust settles tomorrow morning at both training grounds, both managers will say, I'll take a point, and we haven't been beat.
But Stuart's got a good point, right, about Christian Romero, because arguably, at the end of the game, when you're defending a set piece like that, you need your best defenders in the penalty area to stop that equaliser from happening. You know, he's gone down, told everyone he's got to come off. He's then sprinted up and celebrated what he thinks is the winner. But actually, they could have done with him on the pitch there. Now, I don't know the extent of the injury, nor does Stuart. None of us do. But actually, you need everybody in the trenches with you. Thomas Frank needs everybody in the trenches with him. And I think they'll be violently disappointed that they haven't won this game.
I feel it's a mentality issue, actually. I feel like this bad home form has got to their heads. I think they're just trying, or think that they're going to be trying too hard, and then in the end they just don't try at all because they're too scared of making a mistake, maybe. But it just doesn't seem to be clicking for Tottenham at home. Yes, it's a point, but by looking at them, it looks like they're the team that have lost, because, you know, United are the ones who were the buoyant side at the end of this. They know that they came back from the brink, because on balance, I mean, Flex, you think a draw is about right, but it was not a good performance from this United side.
No, it wasn't. I think a draw overall, yes, is probably right, but with United leading the game for so long, the game management in the second half was just so poor. You see what happened at Forest second half. They short-circuited for 90 seconds and allowed Forest to get back in and be 2-1 up. Yes, the positive is that they showed some resilience to get something out of the game. Benjamin Sesko has to come off. You've used up all your subs. Can you find something to keep your unbeaten run going? That's a plus. That's mentality. That's not capitulating and losing the football match. However, it has to come into question what happened in that second half. We said the difference between the two teams in the first half wasn't much. It was just a little bit of moment of quality between Ahmad and Mbeumo. But second half, we offered absolutely nothing for long, long periods. And, you know, we got away with it with Senny Lemons making a couple of saves, but you just felt that Spurs goal was coming. You could just feel it in the stadium, that Man United just couldn't stem that flow. And that's something for them to look at. And I know that when you get something out of the game in the last minute, like Stuart said, the dust settles tomorrow morning, you go, right, okay, we'll take a point. Everton at home next, you go again. And that's not the worst. That's fine. But it just shows why we can't get too involved with United have turned a corner and they're back and they're this and they're that. There's still so much frailties in that team. There's still some naivety running through it, which still needs to be sorted. But I think on days like today, when it does start to calm down, you do have to take the point in the end. But there are still serious questions to be asked as to why Man United can't play well for long enough during games. It still spells, it still patches, it's not sustained throughout a game in order to either see it out or make it more comfortable, and that is a big problem for Ruben Amorim. But on the face of it, in this sort of lead up into this batch of 4 games from the last international break to this, if you would have said you get 3 wins, you get two draws, sorry,
you would have taken it,
you would have taken it to stabilise. This still brings a little bit of stability in terms of you're not losing matches, you're finding a little bit of resilience. And Matthias de Ligt today, by the way, I thought he was excellent. His aggression off the ball to step in on Richarlison was really, really good. He's been aggressive in his duels, winning balls in the air. He's been fantastic. And Brian Mbeumo kept his performance levels quite high as well, whilst the others pretty much teetered on the edge of average. So overall, we'll take a point, but still questions to be answered.
Yeah, questions to be answered, but you'll take the point because you
Absolutely.
didn't lose.
Exactly.
You didn't lose 3 league games in a row against Tottenham Hotspur. They're still a bit of a bogey team, but at least you took something out of it. What's interesting, if you look at the table, is that there are 5 teams with 18 points. Tottenham at the summit of that, in 3rd place. It's Tottenham, Liverpool, Sunderland, Bournemouth and Manchester United, who are down in 7th. Just a point between them and Chelsea in 8th. But as far as quality goes, so much lacking there. Neither side able to really keep the ball, keep possession, really know that they, how to break the lines. And I couldn't see a recognisable pattern of play from either side.
Yeah, as I say, both teams ended up sort of cancelling each other out with 4 goals being scored, as silly as it sounds. But
because on the surface, if you just look at that result, you say, oh, that was an entertaining game. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't at all.
No, I really enjoyed the game. I've got to say, I enjoyed watching
football. Not for a fan, you're a neutral.
Yeah, I'm a neutral. I really enjoyed the game for many reasons, for critical reasons as much as anything else. But from United's point of view, what I would turn around and say, you take a point. They're on the road today. They're taking a point here, and they've salvaged something in their dressing room, going down to 10 men and nicking a goal with about 30 seconds left. It'll feel like a victory to add to some of the good points that they've already nicked on the road. So not such a bad thing for them. For Spurs, the home record in front of a packed stadium, they want to put a better performance on. I think you've got to show more energy and more willingness to want to win a game over 90 minutes than they did. There were spikes when they scored from their players. That's not when you need it. You need it in the downtime in games from everybody to deliver something. But listen, I'll tell you through experience, tomorrow morning at the training ground there'll be 2 managers that blow out their cheeks and say, let's take a point and move on.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to do in football. You've got to move on because it's game after game. The worst part is that now there's an international break, so no one's able to redeem themselves, if you like, in the next game, and they've got to wait to kind of find something in themselves, actually, and to sort of pick up that momentum within themselves once they do come back before the next run of games. Let's pick our man of the match, shall we now, with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Stuart Pearce, who are you going to go with?
Well, I think Flex now the 2 players that have caught my eye in Mbeumo and De Ligt today, and I'm finding it a little bit difficult to separate them because it's fresh in my mind. I'm going to go with De Ligt. He got the goal late on, but I think both of those really caught my eye. I'm not sure there was a Spurs player that I thought was consistent over the 90 minutes, but Mbeumo, A, for his goal, and B, for his work rate out of possession was big for me. But De Ligt was solid for 96 minutes.
And if he comes on and scores the equaliser that saves them a point, then, you're absolutely entitled to be the Here For It man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.